I should go on to the internet and click on some buttons that takes me to a live stream that apparently you've already hit live for, so I should probably plug in my fucking earbuds.
Hey, this is the late night talks crew. Welcome to Moan, Geekicidal Tendencies, Lemon Pie. Something interesting happened, guys, that I have to share with you. That
What?
I have to share. Yes, something happened that I have to share with the group. I gained 5 new subscribers, and I gave
I
the
see that.
subscribers. I gained them because I took a stance, and it shows how fucked up the situation is before I get into this first article. I took a stance and before everyone gets context to this article I'm going to go into, and me and Stevie J are actually going to have a whole stream about this tomorrow at noon. But I took a stance, and I'm not taking this stance as someone who gives a shit about celebrities. But I took this stance as someone who is a father who's been fucked over in the court systems. And the stance of males being fucked over in particular in the court system. And I don't give a fuck if you're doing the UK, the US, it's always the same. When you go through court as a male, you have a disadvantage inherently. And the funny part is, I hear all of this
What?
diversity. Oh, yeah, it's true. And the funny part is,
What
I hear
happened to male privilege?
yeah, I hear about this male privilege. Let me ask you something, and for everyone who will be watching this, I'm sure we're going to have a few other very interested people who have just joined. And if you subscribe to me, thank you. But where is Johnny Depp's male privilege, male white patriarchy privilege? I have never in my life seen the biggest bunch of bullshit. And let's just take the case out of this for a second, because this ties directly into the article. But this man is literally being picked apart for shit that's proven to be false. There is literal physical evidence, voice evidence of this bitch lying. And Johnny Depp is still being destroyed in the apparently the most important court, which is the court of public opinion. Because we all know the court of public opinion is the most important thing, not the law, not the facts, right? We're always talking about facts and evidence. No, fuck facts and evidence, concrete proof. The court of public opinion is the most high. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that they're out of touch with, that the judges are out of touch with, that the cocksuckers at WB is out of touch with. Public opinion is for this man, whether it's men or women that I've seen on the internet. They both agree he's being fucked over. I've never seen a more general consensus about everything. And PB, we've been doing politics now and all of this other shit. And never in my life have I seen one uniting opinion except for
audio
Johnny.
cut out?
Except for
My
Johnny,
audio or Zod's audio?
Zods.
the only thing that I've seen is that the general consensus is that Johnny Depp's being fucked over. Welcome, Melissa Ball. Thank you. Yeah, her own words say she abused him on audio. Exactly. This bitch says in her own words. She even apologizes on tape. And if you guys don't know, I'm good. Stevie J couldn't be here tonight, but he so wanted to tackle this audio. I was talking with him back and forth, so we're doing a stream tomorrow. But I was listening to the audio tapes, PB, and it's just amazing. I've never heard a clear-cut confession. It's like if a murderer stabs someone to death and then calls someone up and goes, "Oh yeah, I stabbed this motherfucker in the hallway. There's blood all over the place. My fingerprints are everywhere." And then they go to court and say, "Nah, that ain't me. What? I didn't stab that person." Well, actually, I think of it, that does sound familiar.
No, it's a deep fake audio recording. Is that a thing?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's gotta be because I mean, not just one. There's multiple tapes. It baffles my mind how the justice system could so greatly fail spectacularly on this. I don't give a fuck if it's UK justice system because those motherfuckers got the same exact type of laws that we do. Okay, maybe they're a little bit different here and
No, they
there.
don't have the exact same laws as we do. There is an event that happened almost 200 years ago that proves that otherwise.
Okay, we're taking that history out of it. In modern day, for most of the cases, I have not seen a court that gets over, no matter where you are in the world, that has clear-cut evidence of you being in the wrong and you still losing the case. Like, you have the physical evidence. That's like someone being stabbed, they survive, and they got the fucking knife that stabbed them with the person's prints on it that proves that they stabbed the shit out of them, and they still get away with it. That's what this was like. Or someone gets murdered, the police get said knife, okay, and let's just take breaking chain of custody or whatever out of it, right? They get perfect, pitch perfect, everything's done to the T, right? They got the
I
murder
like
weapon.
Pitch Perfect.
No one
That's a
fucked
good
it up.
movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. No one fucks it up. All this other stuff, right? They do it perfect. They take it to court, and the trial still gets thrown out. I'll go one step further. They got them on videotape killing the person. They go to court and still get out. That's what this felt like. And it is so fucking disgusting, but not as disgusting as about the article I'm going to read. So I wanted you guys to get a good context of how I feel about this before we get into this article, because I'm going to be even more pissed off as I read this.
Is that possible?
Hold up. Oh, it is. It is possible.
I thought that the Brie Larson article wasn't until like midway through the show.
Oh, I'll get to Brie. A lot of things pissed me off today, but when I saw this, I go, oh, it's been a while. Thank you, Brie. And it was a day ago, so it made me feel happier because I've had to like actually scowl for stupid shit. But this is from Variety. So Johnny Depp is forced to exit the Fantastic Beasts franchise. Okay, let me just read that again so everyone gets. Johnny Depp is forced to exit the Fantastic Beasts franchise by Warner Brothers. Now, do you know what else Warner Brothers does? PB, do you know what else Warner Brothers is responsible for?
I know what they do. I know what
Bugs
they do. I know
Bunny.
Cyber, do you know?
Oh,
There's a big hint in the room. DC.
DC. And who is on DC in Aquaman?
That bitch.
And
I'll only refer to her as that bitch.
Cyber, that was beautiful. You know what? You're gonna get a treat after that. Good job. No, but here's the thing, right? Amber Heard is on that. Now, before I continue, do you guys remember reading an article about Amber Heard having to step down or being forced to step down? Does anyone remember that article? I don't remember that article. Did we see an article that Amber Heard is forced to step away from Aquaman 2? Did anyone? I don't remember
but
it.
she's using that female privilege. Wait, that's not a thing. Allegedly.
No. She's held out, but yet Johnny Depp is being forced to exit the Fantastic Beast franchise. So in this article, they say Johnny Depp will no longer portray the Dark Wizard, Gildred Grindelwald, in the Fantastic Beasts film. Now, if you guys don't know how my channel got started, I actually started my first video was ranting about how much of a piece of shit
Brie
that
Larson.
Fantastic Beasts was.
Oh.
Yes. No, Brie Larson came later. That was about 5 videos. Oh god. But anyways, I started off a Fantastic Beast in like my best friend's uh, room when we were playing a game because we came back from seeing it, and I just got on my camera phone and just went off. And that's when this beautiful adventure began. But here's the thing. While I don't like the movie because of the story choices, I did not dislike Johnny Depp's portrayal in it. I just think he wasn't giving a lot to work with. I think he was an excellent get. You had Jude Law in there. You had a lot of good people. So they get rid of Johnny Depp, which was announced this Friday. I wish to let you know that I've been asked to resign by Warner Brothers from my role as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts. And I have respected and agreed with the request he wrote on Friday on Instagram, which I would have told him to go
You know why?
fuck
Because he's
themselves.
a gentleman. You know why? He's a
Yeah,
gentleman.
he's more of a gentleman than me, because I would have been like, yeah, I'll leave as soon as you pay me the fucking money you owe me for the contract you're breaking, because he had a 3-movie deal, possibly leading into a 4th one, depending on if they wanted to make this.
We'll probably leave the agents to screaming at the studio. That's why you have them. So then you can keep your nice guy image, but they can act like complete jackasses.
Oh, I hope he has like Tropic Thunder, Tom Cruise, remember? Who was the douchebag agent, but he's like the guy you want to be in your corner. Like, I hope he has that like agent, that manager guy who gets on the phone and just starts screaming at them and causes like the receptionist to cry. That's the kind of person I hope Johnny Depp has, because this is the biggest bunch of fucking bullshit I have heard since the next article with Brie Larson. It was like one after the other. I was so angry today. But anyways, Depp's exit from the Harry Potter spin-off series comes days after he lost his libel case against The Sun, a British tabloid that published an article in 2018 alleging he was a wife beater. Good job, media. You definitely don't fuck shit up. Besides polling results, quotes, outright calling people wife beaters. Fucking bang up job.
Hey, you want to hear a great quote?
Sure.
I'll recite it. You want to hear it? All right. It's a little bit of wordy, so bear with me here. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic, and/or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent. For the truth is a moral enemy of the lie, and thus, by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Joseph Goebbels, Nazi Minister of Propaganda.
Wow, and Cyber, you say how you're not political all the time. I just think that's smokescreen and mirrors. I think you're an ultra political husky.
That's historical, though.
Okay, so Warner Brothers confirmed Depp's departure and announced his role will be recast before the 3rd installment opens in theaters. To the studio pushed back the release for the upcoming entry, which is originally set for November 20th or November 2021. It will premiere November or summer 2022. Johnny Depp will depart from Fantastic Beasts franchise. We thank Johnny for his work on his films to date, a Warner Bros. Spokesman says. Fantastic Beasts 3 is currently in production, and the role of Grindelwald will be recast. The film will debut in theaters worldwide summer 2022. I won't be seeing that piece of shit. The prequel series is set decades before the first 5 films. Blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that. Depp's casting has been controversial from the start due to the domestic violence allegations from his crazy wife, Amber Heard, leveled against the star, despite public outcry from fans. What fans? Okay, people who watch this, tell me what fans were in an outcry to get rid of Depp? Because as far as I saw from the threads and everything else, there were no fans that, or even currently no fans that think that Johnny Depp is wrong after a fucking tape recording of her saying she was the abuser.
All the fans who were against him felt bad and joined his side. Everyone joined his side so immediately, except for a lot of celebrities in Hollywood. So whoever gets recasted as his part is going to get a lot of fucking shade.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, we still haven't heard
not touch
anything
that,
from
bro.
Disney. We haven't heard anything from Disney. I know he still has his contracts with Pirates of the Caribbean, but I think Disney should just play it safe for now, because whatever
Disney's
Warner
just gonna
Brothers
wait
does
on that.
and whatever the reaction is, Disney could be like, "Oh, we totally trust Johnny Depp. Come here, Johnny."
So they have a printout. They said the surreal judgment of the court in the UK will not change my fight to tell the truth, and I confirm that I plan to appeal. He concluded, my resolve remains strong, and I intend to prove that these allegations against me are false. My life and career will not be defined by this moment. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, I had to put my phone down to clap because it's hard for me to clap with my phone in my hand. But there you go. This is the worst case of like almost a reverse sexism that I have ever heard. And I'm gonna say two things.
There's no such thing as reverse sexism or any of that stuff. Sexism is sexism.
Okay, well, you know what I mean. But anyways, I'm gonna say this for people to get good context. I love DC, obviously. My name's General Zod, okay? I love DC. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I hated the second Fantastic Beasts, but I loved the first one. I absolutely hated the second one. There was a lot of poor choices made in that film. I ranted about it. I said the one saving grace of that movie. I said in my review, the one thing that saves that movie is Johnny Depp and his performance. Like I said, I felt like he was going to be a great build-up because we didn't get to really see him be built up in the series because he was just one movie in. I can't wait to see him in another one. And they fucking get rid of him. This fucking choice mystifies me. And it's just, and I'll tell you what right now. I'll tell you what. I'm not seeing that new piece of shit Fantastic Beasts 3, and I certainly am not going to see Aquaman 2. And I like Aquaman 1. But I'm not going to spend my money to endorse something that a studio will back one actor but not the other. Now here's the deal. If they would have said to Amber Heard, you have to step back, and then they said to Johnny, you have to step back, that would have been one thing. I could have lived with that. They are equally saying, hey, both of you guys got shit to work out, and we don't need this drama, on our set. But the fact that they made Johnny resign, or I'm doing air quotes here, he chose to step away, and they basically threw him under the bus. And they've done everything in their power, including coming out vocally for Amber Heard. And they throw Johnny under the fucking bus. I cannot endorse. I do not respect. And I believe Doomcock puts it best. He says, without respect, we reject. And I totally agree with that 110%. It's so disrespectful and kind of telling where the franchises are, right? Because Fantastic Beast, you know, they claim it did well, but really did it do well? Because according to the profit margins, it was way lower than most of the Harry Potter films. So really did it do well? No. You know, it's ridiculous. And thank you, Keely Chow. I am a huge fan of Doomcock. Me and the ruler of the center of the earth have chatted back a couple of times and been in a couple of each other's threads. He's a really great guy. I was actually on one of his private streams. It was a great time. He's a really sharp guy, and I love his channel. But anyways, you know, it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and it is nauseating that it's come to a point where Hollywood doesn't even have the spine to sit there and back a guy anymore. It's so ridiculous. And I love what Geekocidal Tendency says. Funny how contrived WB's response to court ruling is. Isn't it though? Isn't it funny? Isn't it ridiculous how, you know, the WB will sit here and they will back Amber Heard, she's guilty. You can't tell me someone at the studio didn't hear the evidence. You can't tell me one of those fucking execs isn't sitting over there. They aren't sitting there bringing the cup of coffee to whoever, and they're like, hey, you know what? I've been listening to the evidence, and, you know, maybe we're backing the wrong person. The backlash for this, I have never seen. And I'll tell you something right now. This is absolutely just ridiculous. Just bananas. Just absolutely, honestly, the worst travesty of the justice system that I've seen. PB, what do you think about this? What do you think about this whole thing that WB is doing? He's speechless. He's absolutely speechless. PB is like, I can't even talk. I'm so speechless about this right now. Cyber.
This has been like it was waking up the other day and seeing everyone reporting on it. It's like, what the fuck?
And let me ask you something. Do you think that they backed the wrong horse?
Yeah, they turned their back on Johnny Depp, but everybody, you know, who's not in some sort of court or high status is behind him. What I see with this, though, gives me more of a reason to be alone and never date anyone. It's a great example. Just stay alone, man. You're gonna live a happy life if you don't have anyone else with you.
You know, I mean, it's really this is the thing. It's really the extremely hot chicks I find that you have a trade-off because they wind up being fucking crazy, and apparently this bitch is like the ringleader of crazy. And, you know, I'm not saying all hot women are. I mean, my girlfriend is attractive. Well, you know, she is a little bit crazy at times too, but I love her anyways. But here's the thing. There's a difference between normal crazy.
There's crazy and then there's psychopathic, sociopathic.
Yeah. Like, to be on this level and I'm going to dive into this more with Stevie, but to be on the level of literally inventing a whole thing and you know, trapping someone with an allegation is sick. Like, this is life, this is career destroying stuff. And the fact that these people are quick to back someone who would be that vicious and condescending baffles my mind. I mean, it's Hollywood. We talk about it all the time. I shouldn't be surprised. But they could still shock the shit out of me. They could still shock me. Yeah, Fred Maria, let's see. Wonder Woman, stars go, whoever is not okay. Let me see.
What the hell? Hold on.
Yeah,
Oh, never mind. Someone got
yeah.
it.
But I mean, let me go to comments and see what Shadow Man giving some advice. Melissa Ball says, I have a teenage son and I am very worried. I'd be worried too. I got a teenage daughter. So trust me, I hear you. Keely says, they backed the wrong horse the same way most voters in my home state of Alabama backed the wrong horse when they elected Tommy. I've heard that. Tomorrow's our political talk, so definitely come to the show tomorrow because I think you'll have a good time there. Geekosile Tendency says, one thing to remember, the news, as they call it in the UK, has been scandalous and underhanded, dirty, sensational, filthy for years. They have changed the laws to protect them for years. Yeah, Geekocidal, I agree. I mean, I've heard that, but boy, oh boy, it's different seeing that. And Cyber, let me ask you a question. Now, I know, you got to get your law dog hat on, but you're pretty good with history. You're pretty good with this back and forth. Do you, in your personal opinion, think that had this been determined in an American court, that we'd have a different outcome than
It depends.
we have here?
It depends. Depends on the judge and where it's at.
So, I mean, but just your estimated opinion, just given some of the facts okay? And let's keep California out of this because California is a fucking coin toss. You never know who the fuck they're going to go for there. But, do you think that this would be what most lawyers would consider a slam dunk, open and shut case with actual voice recorded evidence?
When the evidence came, the lawyers would have had a field day with it. A jury, which I'm pretty sure he would be able to have here, would probably also agree that it was domestic abuse.
Yeah. Yeah. And PB, don't worry, we understand, buddy. Just jump on whenever we're probably gonna go for quite a bit, but me and Husky can keep the banter up, right? Mr.
Yeah.
Husky.
Yep.
And by the way, thank you everybody. We got 10 people watching. This is a big thing. I'm really glad to have new people coming because look, here in the fandom zone, I'm gonna tell you something right now. One thing me, Cyber, Perp Minded, Stevie J, Raw, the Phantom Zone Bridge crew, and if you don't know, Stevie is part of the bridge here and will always be here, even if he's on weird Australian time and kidnapped by dingoes. We are the kind of people who like to analyze the facts and the evidence, okay? I'm not going on personal feelings. Look, if I'm going by personal feelings, I'm not going to lie. Amber Heard is hot. I think she's hot. I'll just come out and say it. But that does not change the fact that what she's doing to Johnny Depp is atrocious. And just like the next person I'm going to talk about, that takes away. Well, hi there, mate. I'm sorry. I do a terrible Australian, Melissa. If I in any way offended you with that horrible accent, I apologize. But anyways, we're not going to sit here and be like, hey, we got these facts, but I don't care about the facts. I'm going to give you my opinion one way or the other. No, this isn't an opinion. This is a fact. Johnny Depp got fucked. Johnny Depp got fucked in the UK, and now he got fucked in the US by Warner Bros. I mean, I'm not making conjunction I'm not putting in feelings. This is on paper. He was bent over. And it is disgusting and sickening. I'm glad you're not easily offended because I tend to say a lot of crazy things here.
Normal Americans aren't easily offended either. It used to be us in Australia could dish out everything and take everything, and then you got some soft bitch ass people that I won't ever call Americans because you're so fucking sensitive.
Stone Cold Jeremy says, doesn't matter how hot the woman is, never stick your dick in crazy. I agree.
But like we just said, all women are fucking crazy, so what the fuck?
I say you pick the crazy you can deal with. Geekocidal Tendency says, this was not a domestic abuse case. It was a defamation of character case. You know, I am going to go over all of the stuff surrounding this case, all of the facts, the evidence, and everything else. But even so, he should have won that defamation, hands down. I mean, all this shit that he's got, and the proof that he's not a wife beater, and still, you know, yeah, Geekocidal, you're right.
I also forgot this when speaking about the court systems. There's 2 cases with every court system. There's a physical case and the civil case. Now you can win one and lose the other one. Win both of them, or lose both of them. The civil case is what it deals with money.
But here's the thing, Cyber. How does this translate in the UK? Because I
don't know, because I don't know their justice system. Although I do know from hearing from a lot of people is that British politics or justice system, a lot of their stuff is corrupt.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is just, and we're going through the same thing in the US with this whole voting thing that I don't want to bring up because that's for tomorrow. But I mean, this has just been a shit show. And what up, Generation Productions? Let's see if PB is back with a vengeance.
Fucking hell, man. Like, when your router cuts you down to 0.25 megabits, it's sure as hard as hell to keep a conversation going.
So let me ask you, Phoebe, what do you think about all of this? From what I hear, it's a defamation of character. Melissa seems to be pretty on the ball with this. Pun intended. Says, I have followed this case closely for 10 months. So let me ask you, in your opinion, you know, not only does he get fucked over in the UK by losing the lawsuit against the Sun for putting basically slanderous lies against him, but now Warner Bros. Is going to kick him off a movie. But Amber Heard, don't worry, you guys. Don't worry. Don't be mad. We're going to scale back her role. But she's still in the fucking movie. She's still in Zack Snyder's Jesus Christ Justice League. She was added to the fucking Justice League movie. Added to the Justice League movie. Just, Jesus. What do you think?
Hey, man.
Well,
hey, man, this bitch is going to be in the Snyder Cut. This bitch is going to be in the Snyder Cut.
What are you saying, PV?
And I know there's a lot of those Snyder fans.
How much are they paying her to be in the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, there's a lot of those Snyder fans that are on Johnny's side too. So how's that going to fucking affect them?
It won't, because Zack Snyder can't do no wrong.
They don't care. It's okay for her to be in the Snyder Cut because it's brought to you by our Lord and Savior.
Did you want to read this?
That's all that matters to them.
A very appropriate joke from Generation Productions. So, I mean...
PB dying again?
I
Of course my fucking stuff is dying again. God damn it!
That's all right. I'll read it. It says at General Zod's Phantom Zone. Question: what's a common guitar for Amber Heard? Answer: the G string. LOL. Jokes.
Don't insult the G string like that. Both of them. Just don't.
Yeah,
That's terrible. That's an attack on music and an attack on my eyeballs.
So you know what? I'm going to talk about this because I spent a half hour. I only didn't. I didn't want to spend this much time, but I will.
You're gonna do an entire stream on this. What do you mean you didn't want to spend this much time? Liar!
I like the Aussies' take on this, but definitely go check out Stevie J Raw. He's got some great in-depth stuff. I've been boning up on all of the details through his channel.
In-depth stuff.
You know, hours of live stream. Holy shit! Like, he's become like the one station you could get all of your Amber Heard / Johnny Depp court case news.
Yeah,
from.
you
He's
can
like,
set your upside down clock to it.
So I want to talk about another frustrating bitch that I can't stand. Oh
Liar.
my god, it's you know what, PB? This is the greatest article I have ever pulled up about her. I don't even know
that
how to
might
make it
be
through this.
true, but I feel like you would enjoy her very much so if you could enjoy her like I enjoy all of the current rap videos that are out there. They're meant to be watched and not heard.
Captain Marvel star Brie Larson
Hey,
opens up
she could
about,
replace Amber Heard.
I've
been waiting to say that for a while.
That's why I let you have that one, I could tell. So, Captain Marvel star Brie Larson opens up about struggling with feeling ugly. Let me just read that if you can't believe it like I couldn't. Captain Marvel star Brie Larson opens up about struggling with feeling ugly.
Okay, she's not
This
ugly.
bitch has
She just
never
has a...
once in her life. I saw younger pictures of her. She never once in her life struggled with feeling ugly. What the fuck are you talking about, Brie?
Okay, she's not ugly. She might not have an ass, which people have said, obviously, but she's not ugly.
The actress hopes to inspire people feeling comfortable with themselves. Captain Marvel and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World star Brie Larson has opened up about her lack of self-esteem, admitting that she didn't used to be happy with her appearance. Speaking to W Magazine, the actress and the director said, "I don't believe that there is a beauty standard. I struggled feeling ugly and like an outcast for so much of my life. And so I really, really feel for that." Are you fucking kidding me, Brie? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. It took me a long time to be able to be totally comfortable with myself. The thing that has brought me solace is knowing that I can be whoever I want to be with myself. What breaks my heart is to think people in the world who don't feel that they have the safety within their own bodies. That to me is the ultimate goal in life, to do whatever it is that I can, so people have the freedom to express themselves and be exactly who they want to be, whatever that is, knowing that they can also change.
Is she talking about her voice, though? 'Cause if she's thinking that's the ugly part, I could agree with that, but I'm still trying to figure out where she's ugly.
Larson began a YouTube channel this year, and as well as using it to connect to fans and playing Animal Crossing, which, by the way, she has a fucking avatar. Fuck you, Animal Crossing. Anyways, she used it to talk about
There's
many
no
film
General
roles.
Zod avatar?
There's no, there isn't a General Zod avatar. I'm really pissed.
Well,
Like,
you
if they
need
put me
to
in the game-
contact the WB.
Oh, that's yeah. You got to contact them, but then you got to contact Nintendo. Nintendo's going to be the hard one. They can be very stubborn.
she used it to talk about many film roles she went for. The star explained why she lost out on a role in Terminator, revealed which Star Wars film.
Which Terminator?
It doesn't say.
If it was the recent one, she probably would have made better of that.
Was she gonna be Sarah Connor?
No. I think if it's the recent one, it was going to be that other chick.
No, her ego, she was going to be John Connor.
I mean, then you would have liked it because then she would have died at the beginning.
And which Star Wars film she went for, and detailed which Marvel projects she tried before landing Carol Danvers. Meanwhile, Captain Marvel 2...
She should have known she wasn't going to be in Star Wars. You got to be British for that.
Meanwhile, Captain Marvel 2 recently signed up the MCU's first black female director, which is rather exciting. How brave and stunning. And that's it. That's it. There's no... This article is fucking ridiculous because she doesn't even go into why she felt ugly, what roles she was passed up for. Like, I heard Terminator and I got nothing else. It could have been Terminator.
Wait, so
Salvation.
she says a Terminator movie and she says a Star Wars movie, but she doesn't say which one specifically, so we're supposed to sit here and speculate on which one it's supposed to be?
Right? Here's the thing, though, with her, like, with Star Wars, and she keeps trying to get in there. I'm like, I don't see her as a Jedi. I see her as a scoundrel.
Oh, yeah, well, she was probably supposed to be in the Solo movie. I'm telling you, man, she was supposed to be in Solo, and she wanted to be in Genesis, and she was going to replace Amelia Clarke in both of them, but Amelia Clarke is British, so she lost.
And not to mention, Amelia Clarke is ridiculously hot and the Queen of Dragons, and Brie Larson is a Super Saiyan. So I take Queen of Dragons over a Super Saiyan any day of the week. But it's just, it's just every time I think she doesn't have something stupid to say, she doesn't disappoint. I mean, I haven't gone to her YouTube channel since that first traumatic video that I watched, and I have no interest in listening to a bunch of bullshit from different people that she talks to that I have no clue who the fuck they are. This is my hairstylist, and she's just so wonderful. And look at this random gay couple, because diversity, like, what the fuck? Okay. I know that on my channel we can get kind of crazy here, maybe not have the most structured and professional format. yeah, I know, it's weird. But we at least pick a topic and have shit that we're going to talk about. Brie just gets on the fucking camera and it's just like mind-numbingly stupid content about shit that has nothing to do with what she puts in the title of her video or anything.
Okay, well, so actually, are her videos from are her videos from the chest up?
I know the first one was kind of she was
because if she's doing it from the chest
weird.
I mean, most of them are, but one of them was a workout video or something like that.
So, and she's getting a lot of views.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least she's got her
I see
own
where you're
thing.
going
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
she knows
yeah.
what she's
When will
doing
she-
when it
when will
comes to
she-
YouTube.
When will she come out with her OnlyFans? Because I will laugh the day that happens.
Hey guys, I got another way for you to support me. I just got this place for, people who are only fans of me to go to.
I'm also waiting for her to make a Twitch account.
Gilly Chow put a really fun comment, says, I'll take a certain Slayer who started out in a soap opera known as All My Children over Brie Larson. And I totally and 100% agree with you. Zod is a huge fan of The Chosen One. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I've been plotting to kill Freddie Prinze Jr. for years. Disclaimer. And still hasn't worked out. Damn you, Freddie Prinze. Damn you. At Gerald Zod's Phantom Zone, we have one from GP who says, well, Brie Larson originally created her channel to troll YouTube community, but then tried to make an amateur channel for laughs, basically.
I'm sure she gets plenty of people that laugh.
So let's talk about a non-laughing matter. Talk about some bullshit.
Thank God.
Let's go to Star Wars.
Aww. Why are you putting bullshit and Star Wars in the same sentence? And with the Mandalorian? That's the only thing good we have going right now. And now you're calling it bullshit? This sounds like the video I made about the Mandalorian.
Now, here's what I'm going to say. This is bullshit, but from articles that are attacking the Mandalorian because we can't have strong white males, even though you don't know what the fuck he looks like because he wears his helmet and you never know who it was unless, you knew who the actor was, which, by the way, is diverse. You fucking media lynches. But anyway.
What about that one episode? Nah, he was bruised. You could barely tell.
Yeah,
what
he didn't.
Like.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little beat up, but you could still tell what he looked like.
Cyber's like, with all those bruises,
let's put it this way. You could tell that he did not look like Jango Fett or Boba Fett, and then they definitely made sure to let us know that he was adopted.
So this comes to us from the highly revered Inverse magazine, from some fucking soy boy. The Mandalorian season 2 commit. This is a great article. I nearly threw my phone halfway through reading this pile of shit. The Mandalorian 2 commits a classic sin of Hollywood westerns. What sin did it commit? Listen to this fucking connection and tell me if
this town ain't big enough for the two of us, sin?
No. This is a racial thing. And they make such a fucking leap that it's a gigantic, like, Evel Knievel leap over the Grand Canyon type leap. Telling a Western story in 2020 isn't as simple as it looks. Star Wars fans already knew that The Mandalorian was a space Western, but the season 2 premiere took the description of that and ran with it. A stranger rode into town, albeit a speeder and not a steed, and rid the locals of the evil enemy for a price, Boba Fett's armor. There was a saloon, a sheriff, and a almost shootout. But all Western influences worked to the series' benefit. For better or worse.
If it was a classic Western sin, the sheriff would have been corrupt.
No. We're getting to the sin. For better or worse, one of the hallmarks from the Western genre is the Cowboys and Indian doctrine. The two factions were posed as progressive American way fighting against the old-fashioned animalistic nature of the Native Americans. The model of the Western film in the 1939 epic Stagecoach centers on fight against the Apaches. The Native Americans in Stagecoach are treated in a little more of a monolith, just a looming force of otherness to be reckoned with. The Mandalorian lends itself to the Cowboys and Indians model in some pretty obvious ways. The Tatooine mining ghost town of Mos Helgo represented the pioneer settlers. The crude Tusken Raiders, so-called sand people, are used for their millennial of experience with krayt dragons, and thus they fill the role of the Native American. So I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay.
Fucking no.
They didn't
Cyber,
even watch.
Give me a minute. Give me
No.
a minute. I have a point. I have a point. They are saying that the sand people in a fucking galaxy far, far away are the equivalent of the Indians. All right, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
The fucking sounds like someone never watched the first fucking Star Wars movie. The very first Star Wars movie. There's already tension with everyone knowing the sand people and stuff because the sand people are tribal. And then, they're native to it. And so are the Jawas are native to Tatooine.
Yeah, and he fucking blew Jawas away. That was, what was it, episode 4 or 5 in the first season? He was fucking killing them fuckers, and I didn't hear a big outcry of, oh, he's killing the natives. They were like, oh, fuck those Jawas. Those
Those Jawas weren't on Tatooine, though, so it's cool.
But it gets better. Disney is reinforcing this outdated worldview that isn't new. The studio's track record with telling Native American stories in the movies like Pocahontas and Brother Bear, which, by the way, are great movies, is troubled at best. Even the parallel isn't intended. Native individuals see themselves in the Tuscans. No, they don't. Native Americans are fucking watching this show. Are you kidding me?
Whoa. Okay, so my internet was cutting out a little before, so I didn't catch the beginning. Their assertion is that Tusken Raiders are some type of Indian from America?
They are saying that they are that the directors are making a quasi reference to the Native Americans, and then that they're the savages because this is a space western and it's doing the same tropes as the old westerns, that you have the sheriff, you have the marauder, and then you have the savage natives who they have to team
that's why they sophisticatedly work in a sophisticated manner work together.
I know, and they have fucking lasers on a completely different fucking planet. So, like, I don't.
Every time I thought of the Tusken Raiders, I always thought of the Mongols over in Mongolia. That has nothing to do with America. I never thought Indians. What the fuck?
Yeah, you thought every time you thought of it, you thought more of the Eastern barbaric tribes, not Native Americans.
Oh, but it gets better.
Never got any type of. Oh my god.
They have this person named Lee Francis, and I am so pissed that he has that name because it may or may not be close to a name that I know. But anyways, Lee Francis, the founder of Native Relations, expressed excitement in seeing the Tuscans, the Tuscan folks. Those are our people, right? That's like Apache right there. Like, okay, guy, portraying Tuscans the same way old westerns portrayed
the Tusken Raiders aren't even as spiritual as the Native Americans are.
Oh, I know. This is so fucking ridiculous. Portraying Tuscans the same all the way Westerns portrayed native population is not unique to the Mandalorian either. In A New Hope, They're treated as an outside force to give Luke a taste of danger he'll face. In Phantom Menace, they shoot at pod racers. In Attack of the Clones, Anakin finds his dying mother in a Tusken camp.
And Attack the Clones, they're animals, and he killed them. But not just the men, but the women and children too.
Yeah, you're still in my thunder, because they do say later he tells Padme, they're animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. Jesus Christ, I didn't know. Anakin
he said killed.
No. There's no way that could have happened in episode 2, because everybody tells me in episode 3 he turned on a dime, so that couldn't have happened in episode 2.
Granted, this is used to underline Anakin's descent into evil, but comparing them to animals is still reminiscent of these outdated, problematic films. The portrayal of indigenous people as hostile isn't a necessity even in Star Wars. Ewoks are indigenous to Endor, but they're shown to be adorable helpers to the rebel cause. No, they're not. They had fucking stormtrooper helmets. We assume those little fuckers are cannibals.
Whoa. Hold on a second. He just said that they were adorable helpers to the rebel cause. Yeah, that was right after they tried to murder and eat Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, but they decided not to because their god, C-3PO, deemed it so.
Man, I really wish the budget wasn't so limited for George, so the battle could have taken place on Kashyyyk with Wookiees, like it was supposed to.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
That was the original idea. That's why he had that big scene with the Wookiees, though, in episode 3 when he was able to do that.
So, in the Mandalorian, Din Djarin treated the Tuskens with respect. Narratively, this makes sense. He was adopted into a mysterious race bound to keeping their faces hidden as well. The problem is that the basic kindness is seen by those around him as a revolutionary moment. Even some 40-odd years after the events of Phantom Menace, the rest of the galaxy still looks down on the Tuskens. When Mando tries to get Cobb to work with the Tuskens, he shows them their ritual sacrifice of a banta to the crate dragon, stating that they have studied its digestive cycle for generations. When the dragon eats a Tusken instead of bantha, he concedes.
I laughed so fucking hard.
They may be open to some new ideas. It's a lighthearted moment in the show, but a Tusken just died. A loss that's brushed off as the story swiftly moves to the next scene. Later,
of course, it's a loss that's brushed off. It's just another animal dying.
No. Of course, it's brushed off. It's a red shirt. Does anyone cry about? No one gives a fuck about the red shirts.
Nope.
There's more people that died later on in the final battle too. The villagers and some more Tusken Raiders. They were fucking red shirts. They were destined to die.
Later, it gets worse. Later, Cobb turns up his nose at Tusken traditions and cultures, but reluctantly gives as Mando reminds him that his town's fate is on the line. Similarly, the people of Mos Pelgo initially object to the assistance from the Tuskens, saying they raid their mines. They do! And are monsters. They are! When they eventually relate to a ceasefire, the scene invokes the many passing the peace pipe moment in films like the end of Broken Arrow. Are you kidding me? a 1950 movie considered to be one of the first portrayals of Native Americans as sympathetic. While their efforts to portray the hesitation of Cobb and the rest of Mos Plego in a negative light, The Mandalorian still manages to show that while the townspeople and the Tuskens are working together, one group is superior to the other. In many shots of confrontation with the Great Dragon, many nameless individuals get swallowed up as a way to raise the stakes. On a second watch, a solid 75% of these casualties are Tusken. This person literally watched the episode twice just to get a percentage of how many Tuskens versus, I guess, normal townsfolk gets eaten. Because fuck the women and children. Them Tuskens, man, they're being treated wrong. Are you fucking kidding? This is the fucking most ridiculous bullshit. Oh my God. Okay. Even though the Mandalorian may be trying to humanize and sympathize the Tuskens' narrative decisions, like turning the faceless Tusken into cannon fodder, it does not bode well for the representation of native
it's not
population
our
in
fault
Star
that
Wars.
they're faceless. They all wear giant hijabs.
This does not
this article is the reason why in the EU why one of them became a fucking Sith.
This does not bode well for the representation of native populations in Star Wars, international or not. There have been massive strides in their characterizations from when they were first shown confronting Luke, but obviously there's still room to grow out of the stereotypical roles seen in Hollywood 70 years ago. Oh my God, what a fucking painful article. This is the stupidest shit I've ever really, out of the whole episode, the thing that these dumbasses take from the episode is, yeah, you know, there's a big fucking dragon eating all these people, just causing havoc. You got Timothy Owenthal, one of the greatest fucking character actors ever, who is like the sheriff from Justified and Deadwood. Watch those shows if you haven't. Anyways, you got all this badass shit happening, and the thing that they choose to pick out is the representation of natives on different fucking planets. Are you shitting me? These are people that have murdered and slain people, and fuck story and development and showing struggle and community coming together to stop a bigger looming threat. No, we're going to glaze over all of that and say, but you know what? They're still not progressive enough because they still treat the Tuskens like so terribly, even though they like raid their mines and probably killed the women and children. They've been said to have raped women and done terrible things, but
Man,
that fucking representation, man.
I hope no one tells them that the Hutts are gangsters.
Oh God, you know, slug people representation. That fucking Jabba, him and his people are marginalized. I mean, slugs' lives matter. Like, PB, I'm gonna start with you as our resident Star Wars expert. How stupid is this fucking article?
Oh no, he's gonna be able to hear all of it because my internet's gonna cut out.
Yeah. But what do you think? What is your opinion of the mistreatment of the Tuskens in Star Wars?
The mistreatment of the Tusken Raiders in an episode of The Mandalorian. I don't think that you can mistreat the Tusken Raiders unless you were to take off their hijabs and show us their face in the light of day, because that would go against their religion.
Like, are we in such a way in
They're
entertainment?
there to be cannon fodder. That is what Tusken Raiders are for. Did he not see episode 2?
Like, Are we in such a way in society that we have to go and make up racial discrimination with fictional characters that don't even fucking exist? They're not real. Does this guy realize that Star Wars is not a fucking it's not a documentation. It's not a docu-pic. This isn't based on shit that exists in reality. Does this guy realize it's just a fucking television show?
No, man. Some stuff are based on stuff in reality. The stormtroopers, obviously, we all know what they're based off of.
Okay, Husky, we're not trying to get that deep. I'm just saying the concept is a fictional concept. It's not a fucking docu-pic. We're not going to go to fucking the Arizona desert or a desert type area in the US and go, holy fuck, there's a tribe of Tuscans. Let's go say hi to them and make sure they're being treated right. Look at them slaughter and take that homestead. Well, those fuckers had it coming. They shouldn't have moved into that Tuscan land.
I mean, nobody wants the homestead of the Tuscan Raiders. They live out in the middle of the desert in their wigwams.
I mean,
oh, that's why they're Indians. They live in wigwams. My bad.
I mean, maybe in some way, George Lucas may have subconsciously created them as a callback to Native American tribes and that kind of feel. But I honestly don't think that was his idea. I think he wanted to make someone native to, a fucking desert planet and kind of scary and a big looming threat for Luke Skywalker to face so Obi-Wan could save him. And boom. And the fact that they go and they say Ewoks are so cute. They're adorable. And they held Luke over a fucking fire on a fucking stick. They were going to roast him like a pig. But they're the most adorable creatures ever. And he strongly hinted that they were cannibals.
No, the most adorable creatures ever were in The Last Jedi. No, it's not the porgs. It was those crystal foxes. Those things are adorable.
Yeah. Even PB liked the crystal foxes. But yeah, I mean, and if you ask Perp, he'd say porgs for life, even though those things are super fucking creatures. I don't understand why people like them. But, but I can see you saying a porg is cute or a crystal fox, or something like that. But these people live in harsh desert environments. Of course they're going to be savage and nomadic and set up fucking tents and wigwams and all that shit. They're indigenous people. I don't think that's a callback to any fucking thing. I mean, when you looked at that, Cyber, honestly, did you think, those people are definitely Native Americans? That's Native Americans in the desert.
I don't have the mental gymnastics to do that shit.
And I'm gonna be honest with you too. I review shit. That's what I do on my channel. You know that. And never once watching any Star Wars movie until I read this dumb fucking article did I get the idea that the Tusken Raiders were some kind of quasi play on the Indian culture. Like, where the fuck do these people come up with this? It boggles my mind, the stupidity that is flying around in entertainment today. These writers are so out of touch with what people actually give a shit about when they're writing these articles. I mean, it's just, do you have anything else to add before I move on to the next article?
The crate dragon is cuter than the Ewoks.
Oh, that thing was terrifying, man. I gotta say, that's some of the best special effects I saw was that crate dragon. I was like, holy fuck, man. They really went no holds bar with the budget.
Today's episode, without spoiling anything, I got kind of excited when I saw there was a creature, and I thought it was that creature too when it was showing something that was in one of the old encyclopedia books that I read. And I'm like, oh, look at that. They're here.
But no spoilers because I still haven't seen the episode. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't see it yet? Damn it! I can't talk about it.
yeah, don't because I haven't seen it, and I definitely want to see it. So no spoilers on the new episode. But let's move on. Speaking of representation, if you guys don't know or you're new to the channel, I love James Bond, and I have such an issue with this. This is the biggest diversity play ever, and they're going to fuck up one of my favorite franchises. So let's just read this article. This is from I believe today or yesterday. Lashana Lynch confirmed as the new 007 in No Time to Die. Now there was speculation, but it's confirmed that she is the new Bond, and it's this big deal. And look, I don't know how I feel about a female James Bond, but I do know that I don't want, which I have a feeling this is going to happen, but I don't want this to overshadow Daniel Craig's last James Bond film. I think that this is a stupid fucking move because whether it's guys or girls who watch this, they do not watch James Bond for fucking representation. There's been a lot of female who like Bond, and let's be real, it's the guys. Okay, a lot of Daniel Craig lovers. You know, and this is just. I'm just gonna read the article because I'm getting another headache. Lashana Lynch will make history, taking over for Daniel Craig's James Bond as the new 007 in No Time to Die. It's official. We have a new 007, and she is making history as the first black woman to take up the mantle as James Bond in the James Bond universe.
This is gonna go over as well as the female Doctor.
Like, and you know what? I'm a Who fan as well as fate would have it, and I had no problem with the female
I
Doctor.
don't watch that show that much, but I know how people hate that character.
I will say this. I had no problem with a female Doctor until they went back through Doctor Who history and they retroactively destroyed about 50 years of Doctor Who history and said that it was always a female who created the Time Lords and all this bullshit that contradicted the main storyline. And it was just heartbreaking. And well, I'm just going to continue this because that's a different stream, but they just totally fucked Doctor Who. It probably has one more season left before they cancel it. But anyways, it's official. We have a new 007, and she is making history as the first black woman to take up the mantle as in the new James Bond universe, as leaked last year, but has now been confirmed. Lashana Lynch will play the new 007 in No Time to Die. She will be taking over for Daniel Craig's Bond in his absence from M16. It makes a historical moment and one of
MI6, man.
It makes an historical moment for one of cinema's most enduring franchises. The news was confirmed in a recent interview, even though it had been all but confirmed up to this point. In the profile, it was revealed that Lashana Lynch is known for her role in Captain Marvel, which was a fucking terrible role. Okay, this is my first problem I got with this pick, is that they picked her based on one of the most terrible roles in that Captain Marvel movie. And if you guys have been on my channel, I have laid out the reasons why I don't like that film besides Brie Larson. It was boring. The fucking plot twist was dumb and predictable. A lot of shit was wrong in that movie. But her role in particular was the most forced, terrible role in that whole movie. The little girl acted better than she did. The little girl had more chemistry with Brie Larson than her supposed, and I'm doing air quotes, best friend did. And now they gave her the fucking lead until Daniel Craig returns. And I don't know how much of the movie that is. I don't know what their interaction is going to be when she comes face to face. But from what I've seen from the trailers, it's going to be one of those, oh, I do it my way. And oh, I'll shoot you in the knee if you try anything. Like, it's so disrespectful. But anyways, the first ever female 007. But to be clear, this does not mean that the character Naomi will be the new James Bond. In No Time to Die will open with Bond in retirement. The interview piece clarifies that Naomi is the secret agent who inherits the 007 title from Bond himself in his exile. Even so, this is a huge moment in the franchise. The news originally leaked online last April. At that time, it was met with a great deal of backlash and vitriol from online critics, speaking that Lashana Lynch feels the same thing would have happened to any other black actress who took the role. For her, it is being part of a larger conversation. I am a black woman. If it were any other black woman cast in the role, it would have been the same conversation. She would have had to go through the same attacks, the same abuse. I just have to remind myself the conversation is happening and that I'm part of something that is very, very revolutionary. No Time to Die will pick up several years after the events of Spectre. Bond is pulled back into active service by his pal Felix, once again played by Jeffrey Wright, which puts him in the path towards a deadly new villain named Siphon, played by Rami Malek. We've seen a bit of interaction between Naomi and Bond in the trailers, and the two seem to be challenging one another a bit. Lashana Lynch speaks further and explained what to interject some truth into the character. I didn't want to waste the opportunity when it came to Naomi might represent. I searched for at last one moment in the script where black audience members would nod their heads, taunting the reality, but glad to see their real life represented. In every project I am a part of, no matter the budget or the genre, the black experience that I'm representing needs to be 100% authentic. The movie is directed by Carrie Jo Fukunaga. It was originally supposed to arrive this year, but since it's delayed several times, the situation with movie theaters remains uncertain. No Time to Die is set currently to arrive April 2nd, 2021. So, yeah, this is the biggest fucking... and here's the thing that upsets me about this whole thing. She has to come out and talk about the black representation immediately in this film. And it's like, can we just make a fucking James Bond movie? No one gives a shit about that part of it. Like, what's up, PB?
Oh, God, hopefully this works.
So, did you catch the gist of the article I went over?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got the gist of it. To clarify, she's not James Bond. She's just James Bond.
Yeah, I'm so angry. I don't even know what to say because the way she's approaching
This person had to been on Bill Clinton's legal team.
the way she approaches this is like she took cues from Brie Larson, like, oh, the representation I'm gonna bring, and I'm gonna bring 100% authentic black representation to James Bond. How about 100% representation of the fucking character? How about that? How about representation of a fucking secret agent? That would be nice. Like,
right? I don't care what color you are.
Like, and then she plays like, oh, if this was any other black person. No, me and a bunch of other people were like, how about Black Superman? How about fucking Idris Elba?
Yeah,
He's
if this
British.
was Idris Elba, then you wouldn't have a problem with it. And I'd be like, no, you're right. I wouldn't, because his name would be James fucking Bond.
I thought everyone liked Idris Elba.
I do.
They do.
I would.
I thought people thought he was going to be the next Bond, and I was like, all right, I could see him as the next Bond.
Oh, he's
if they
gonna
wanted
be.
to do that.
I'm
Trust
going
me,
to
he's still gonna be.
like. I just want him to just stop at one part, like he's fighting the newest fucking villain or something like that, right? The villain fucking punches him, and he does one of those Hollywood things where he shakes off the punch and he goes, "I'm Black Superman." Like that would be. I just want him to use. Since I heard that in Hobbs and Shaw, I want him to say that at least once in every fucking movie. That was the greatest. Like anybody else in the world saying that line, you'd be like, ugh. But when he said that in Hobbs and Shaw, me and about fucking 10 other people in the theater fucking clapped and laughed. That was like one of the greatest moments in that movie. He's like, look at me, I'm Black Superman. I was like, you are, Idris. You are. You're my fucking role model. Like the man is just brilliant.
No, he can't be your role model because he's not Kryptonian. You can only look up to Kryptonians because that's how representation works.
Well, then I'm fucked because I only have myself.
Frick, if Idris Elba was in the if Idris Elba was casted in DC, who do you think he should play?
Superman. There's no other choice. This is not a discussion. It's fucking Superman. I mean,
no, man, no, he can play Green Lantern.
Yeah, because I thought he'd do a great John Stewart because
Superman.
he's got that. I thought he'd do John Stewart well because he's got the looks of John Stewart and he's got the heart of John Stewart.
And he's got the attitude.
He can do that serious tone. He's not the screw around that Hal Jordan is.
Like, but seriously though, if they said Henry Cavill decided he's done, right? He's gonna be the Witcher, and Idris Elba's like becoming Superman, I'd be like, I'm fucking fine with it. Perfect casting, continue on. I mean, could you imagine the great lines that movie would have? like that would be great. Like, Zod, you can't have any role model outside.
I suppose that they could do it, but then you have to change all of Superman's family to be in black people, the way that they did it in Krypton, the show, for Zod's family.
Oh, and here's the thing. Love General Zod. I love Terrence Stamp. He's a legend. Greatest Zod. But that show, the person who plays Zod does an excellent job. He's menacing. I mean, especially the season 2. Holy fuck, man. Season 2. When you see the statues and the way he says kneel and all the people, like, that was General Zod, okay? And I didn't give a fuck that they had a black General Zod or that the House of Zod was represented by black people. I had no problem with that. They did the writing good. The character was still the character of Zod. And this is what Hollywood doesn't get. If you write a good story, the fucking race and the gender doesn't matter. You just need to write a good fucking story. You can't just fucking force someone into a role that doesn't have any rhyme or reason to be there except for representation. I mean, who would be the ideal John Henry Irons in either DCEU movie or an episode of Supergirl? I'm just gonna always say Idris Elba. Yeah, anyone else has a different answer.
Okay, let's just get a movie where all the characters
John
are...
Henry Irons. I mean,
let's just get a movie where Idris Elba's playing all the characters.
I mean, you could do for John Henry
So
Irons.
you want a movie done by Tyler Perry but starring Idris Elba?
No, more like the Eddie Murphy, how Eddie Murphy played all of his characters in like the Nutty Professor.
Okay.
But to answer your question, Keely, John Henry Irons, it can be kind of portrayed differently. He's kind of sarcastic and stuff. I could even see like Tyrese doing doing that character. He's got the bald head. He fits that frame pretty well. So Tyrese would work.
Well, if he's gonna be in Supergirl, they better hurry up because it's over.
Yeah, I think if they bring him to the DCU,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just bust out laughing. Lemon Pie says Tyler Perry's Hobbs and Shaw.
hey man, if it was as good as the first one was, I'd fucking pay money. I don't give a fuck who's directing it. And to be fair, Tyler Perry is not a bad director at all.
Except, I guess in this scenario, wouldn't it be Tyler Perry's Shaw and Shaw and Shaw and Shaw?
I can listen. I can listen to fucking. I don't. You know what? I've come to realize I don't even care what Jason Statham is doing, as long as he's talking in a movie. I have not figured out what the Meg is about to this day. All I know is Jason Statham punches a fucking shark in the face. That to me,
square in the face,
right in the face. I mean, and I said it jokingly. I said to my girl when we went to see it, I took my daughter to see it. I said, you know what? I'm not going to fucking like this movie unless I see Jason Statham go toe to toe with a fucking great white. Like, if he punches the Megalodon in the face, this movie's getting a fucking 9. And sure enough, he did. And to this day, that movie is perfect. I own it, and I literally live just to see that scene in the movie. Greatest fucking scene ever, and the only man in the world I can believe would be underwater and punch a shark in the face and say some kind of British snobby thing. Yeah, it's just yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But you know, there's really not much I could say about this article. It's fucking stupid. Another example.
representation matters.
So, speaking of a character that doesn't need to be represented, but I'm hyped because I wanted to show good representation and how you do a character well, which Marvel seems to have down. I want to actually talk about a game coming out that I'm pretty excited about. And Into the Spider-Verse really made me like this character because I've read the comics. If you guys haven't been on my channel,
you didn't
before,
like Peter Parker before? You're not a Spider-Man fan?
No, I'm not talking about Peter Parker. I am talking about Miles Morales. When his run came out, I fucking hated Miles. I thought he was like a knockoff Spider-Man. I couldn't stand him. And then something happened, and Into the Spider-Verse came out, and I gotta be honest, I had no clue.
Is this like Minority Showcase tonight in the fandom zone?
Yeah, man. Like all the articles I pulled have been kind of you can't say the fandom zone doesn't represent here, but anyways, Marvel.
I mean, other than the Brie Larson one, I don't count that one. She's white.
She's Aryan. So
Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales review is out, and I gotta say, I've seen screenshots, and it's by Insomniac Gaming, which has amazing games. I'm very much excited for this. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales turns its attention to New York's newest web slinger and tells a deeply personal and captivating story in the process. At the dawn of a new console generation, Insomniac Games brings the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man Miles Morales, a continuation of the studio's excellent Marvel Spider-Man. It's a full-bodied game with compelling emotional story at its heart. And while much of the game may feel familiar to those who have played the predecessor, which I did, that Spider-Man game was fucking amazing. The storytelling and characters have a distinct distinctive tone that sets them apart. The story picks up 1 year after the conclusion of the first game, with teenage hero Miles Morales sitting under Peter Parker's proverbial learning tree, helping the OG webhead keep New York's city safe and learning on the job. So already, I like the fact that they don't cut Peter Parker from this game. He's mentoring Miles, kind of like in the movie, even though that Peter kind of died quickly. And fat Peter Parker had to take over, which was fucking hilarious. When Peter goes on holiday with Mary Jane to Europe, Miles is left as the city's sole protector, and it's not long before he's put to the test. Urban warfare breaks out between a shady tech corporation, Roxxon, and a mysterious mastermind named the Tinkerer. Throughout the campaign, we follow Miles as he pushes himself to the breaking point to keep the peace. What they appreciate most is the story that is so deeply personal and more cultural in tone to New York's diverse community.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You know they had to put in there, it's Den of Geeks, so they had to throw in the fucking representation.
I mean,
Anyways,
Jesus, how many fucking buzzwords could they fit in one sentence?
I mean, they were like, okay, this is the one point in the article, we got to throw the buzzwords in there.
My
Anyways,
God.
outside of his superhero antics, Miles is anchored by the city council campaigning mom, Rio Morales, and his social media savvy best friend, Gank. That's a fucking weird name. I swear to God, Ganke. That's what I took out of it. That's what I'm going to call him. Anyways, some of the best games released this year have featured people of color in prominent roles. Here we go. More diversity. Go Den of Geeks.
Miles Morales is part of the Spider family, and that's how you should always see him. He's a part of the Spider family, nothing else.
And Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is no exception, boasting a diverse and fleshed out Harlem at the story's onset. And it's clear the developers took the time to ensure the game reflects what those communities and neighborhoods are all about. And I come from New York, and I'm here to tell you, Harlem is a fucking very interesting place. And you know what? If you want to get a taste of what the community's like, go there at about 12 o'clock midnight and tell me if you love the fucking diversity there. Because I guarantee you something. If you drive through fucking Harlem and park your car, that fucker won't have any wheels when you go back out to fucking leave. Anyways, the game's title screen features a close-up of Miles' 6-inch Timbs.
Nice.
On a New York... I'm sorry. That was so fucking random. What does that have to do?
They see him strolling in Timberlands.
That is so... When these people are writing it, do they realize their own racist comments as they're writing this? Like, why does it matter that he's wearing Timbs?
Shoe representation matters.
Like, there's a close-up of his Timberlands on the New York subway. You know,
No, God, it's to let you know this is what's up. They zoom in on the shoe, and you're supposed to immediately know this isn't your average Spider-Man. He's black.
The Timbs, baby.
So yeah, totally fucking racist.
And on several occasions, we see residents of Harlem calling Miles Spider-Man, our Spider-Man. I've got absolutely nothing bad to say about Peter Parker or the mainline Spider-Man franchise. It's such a joy to see the blockbuster superhero story being told that do not revolve around white men. Jesus Christ. It's important to note that this review is based on the PlayStation version of the game, While the graphically
Well,
enhanced.
pause. Did they seriously think that people are that fucking dumb? Considering at the beginning of the article that whoever it is that's reading this said the PlayStation exclusive Miles Morales. No shit,
Well,
it's based on a PlayStation version.
Apparently, it could change when it comes to that racist Xbox version.
Holy fuck.
While the graphically enhanced PS5 version will undoubtedly look spectacular, I've got to say the game already looks dazzling in the current gen hardware. The New York City skyscrapers from the first game is picturesque as ever, except for this time you get to the city blanketed in snow, with Miles swinging up and down Manhattan in the wintertime as the city readies for the holidays. The game looks smoother and more refined than its predecessor. Lighting and shadow effects and texture quality seem to be improved. But what really stands out is the animation, which I'm glad they're finally fucking talking about the game. Insomniac did a great job with the character animations from the first game. The game's excellent motion blur effects add this greatly, and the studio managed to push things even further. Characters move and gesture more naturally than ever before. Miles' movements reflect the personality and age in an interesting way.
Whoa. You said characters gesture more naturally than ever before, and you're in New York City, so you got people flipping you off left and right?
Probably. If I play this
Like,
game,
hey,
I want to see
fuck you, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
I want to see someone do that. If they do that, I'll be like, wow, this game is more realistic than I ever thought they could.
Yeah. Then you're walking on the streets, you bump into someone, they say, hey, I'm walking here.
They did that in one Spider-Man game. I used to fucking bump into people just to hear them say that. It was fucking hilarious. The accents were terrible, though. Miles' movements reflect his personality and age in interesting ways, too. He's less confident than the experienced Peter Parker, so he's swinging and fighting a bit less elegant and slightly more awkward. The animation, of course, driven by the gameplay, which fundamentally is the same, what we saw in the original game, but sees some interesting tweaks, particularly regarding the enemy encounter. While Peter Parker's tree skills were innovator, defender, and web slinger, which focused on combat, invasion, traversing, respectively, Miles' three trees are combat skills, venom skill, and camouflage skill. Combat improves melee attacks given the perks and shortened cooldown times, allows you to disarm more effectively. Venom skill harnesses Miles' newly acquired venom power, which allows him to charge objects and fry enemies with crackling lightning.
Okay, so I got a real quick question. If he has this branch of skills called melee skills, how in the hell are you supposed to attack people from 6 feet away?
Webs.
That's a good question. Hold on. I think they explained this. He can use lightning to break armor, take down gigantic foes like a rampaging rhino, and even launch his enemies high in the air. This effect transverses as well. Camouflage skills revolve around his new ability to turn invisible for a period of time, with various other skill trees bolstering the abilities to pick out and stealth.
Whoa. Pause. Since when can Spider-Man turn invisible? What?
Miles
can. He's the only Spider-Man who can do
it. He can go invisible, right? So I'm hoping in the game they don't force you into stealth missions, because they might do that with him being able to camouflage.
He got bit by an invisible spider?
Yeah. Didn't you ever see Into the Spider-Verse? He was bitten
No,
by
I did not watch Into the Spider-Verse yet.
Holy fuck, man, you're missing a great movie. Anyways, yeah, he's the only Spider-Man that can go stealth, but there's certain specifications. Like he could be knocked out of it and shit like that. Or like if he goes in water, you can see him and stuff like that. It's more of a kind of blending into his surroundings as opposed to being like invisible.
It's more like a chameleon effect.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Miles' venom power and camouflage abilities help enemy encounters stand out from the first game, while maintaining the same fluidity in combat that Insomniac perfect in the original. The combat system isn't without its flaws, though. For example, things can get a little bit messy and too cluttered, enemies lunging and shooting at you all at once. The spider, and it's hard to follow the action with the spider sense indicator going wild all over the place. A few of these hectic action sequences result in death and felt a little cheap, but turning invisible also saved my ass numerous times in tense situations. Overall, though, the combat is on par with what you would expect from the franchise. The stealth elements also a blast to mess around with, especially in combination with the venom power. There are a multitude of missions, tasks to complete around the city, new skills. I loved the later Peter set up trials for Morales, and his commentary throughout sections via hand-lit hologram are hilarious. The game offers a new way to accept missions in the form of a social media app, and there is also a social feed tab that's been added to the pause menu where you can read comments from people around the city and watch Rio Morales interact with her supporters as she campaigns for city council. It's a supplemental feature that you can choose to ignore, though it does help flesh out the game world. I appreciate Insomniac's commitment to making New York feel alive, and the interactive social activities made the experience good. But again, what truly makes Spider-Man Miles Morales a worthwhile experience is the story as it unfolds, the central plot twist that is simply meant to surprise you, but it adds depth to the character as well. This is a story about New York's marginalized communities, blah, 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 talking point, gonna skip over that. One of the geekier appeals of the original game was the array of unlockable costumes, and the feature returns with even more costumes for Miles to don. His version of the 2099 costume is one of my favorites, as well as his Into the Spider-Verse suit, which is sure to please fans from the runaway 2018 movie. There is a ton of surprises and tie-ins to the first game, and that are revealed when you play, which I can't reveal here, but it's safe to say that Insomniac isn't nearly done telling the story. I had a great time with the game, and while some will probably complain that the campaign is a tad short, I respectfully disagree. It took me 16 hours to complete the main story. I often got lost in side missions and swinging aimlessly, and I honestly felt the length was the sweet spot for a game. The story is tight, with little filler, and the gameplay never grew stale. I enjoyed myself from beginning to end. So, wow.
He got lost and wasted time, and it still only took 16 hours? And you're supposed to pay $70 for this?
Well, I mean, 16 hours is quite a bit. I mean, I don't have fucking
16 hours ain't shit, man. 16 hours for a fucking full-scale game is garbage. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but you got to also bring into account there's going to be DLCs and all sorts of add-on shit.
I don't have to bring that into account. That's extra. That is extra. Even a Pokemon game takes longer than 16 fucking hours.
You also got to get all the suits and the special skill trees and all that.
Zod, wait for the PlayStation 5 to release. In a couple of weeks, we're going to see how fast you can actually beat the game when the speedrunners get their hands on it. Then we'll know the actual length. Then we'll know the actual length of the game.
Because, yeah, I don't necessarily speedrun games, and I get lost because I mean, how long does it take somebody to play through a Grand Theft Auto? Because comparing it to something like that wouldn't be fair, because that game, you are almost intentionally meant to just get lost doing nothing. You're like, oh, I booted up the game. What am I going to do today? Absolutely nothing. And I played for the next 2 hours. I didn't do anything in the primary mission. I didn't do anything in the side missions. All I did was drive around town, breaking laws, murdering hobos, and fucking bitches.
Or because it's Grand Theft Auto and sometimes you're bored, you decided, you know what? Fuck it. Today we're obeying traffic laws.
Oh, that's when you know that you're having fun, when you're obeying a traffic law. You're like, oh, red light, oh, fucking stop. Okay. Then you see the cops, you get paranoid. You're like, I'm just playing a video game, but there's cops right there. Don't look, guys.
What's more fun is when you obey the traffic laws, but you still act like a jackass behind the wheel, so you constantly honk at people in the lights. I
like,
did
move
that,
your fucking
and
ass,
they actually programmed it, and I constantly honk at the red light. That the people will end up pulling off at a red light and causing a pile up. And then
That
you
is
laugh, your light goes
hilarious.
green, and you drive by.
Anyway, the game needs to be longer. And if you're talking about full completion, like, oh, you got to get the suits, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, I have no idea how long it takes to fully complete a Grand Theft Auto game. I've never done it. I have no idea how long it takes to fully complete a Pokemon game. I've never done it. There's an unbelievable amount of things to do inside of one of those games. But I bet this Spider-Man game still is substantially shorter than anything out there, but the puddles are going to look great.
I don't know. I'm still excited, as a fan of the first game and seeing the continuation of the story. I do agree with one thing. I hate to admit this, you do have a point with the price point. It wouldn't be something I'd buy right away. I'd wait for that fucker to drop down. But one of those quick buys, something like, oh, I haven't played this, critics love it, and gamers love it. I'll give it a go.
Why do we have to pay $70 for games now?
Because it's the next generation. The same reason why we had to go from 50 to 60. Because they want more money. That's the only fucking reason. They go, well, it takes us longer to make these games with the 4K graphics, guys. Bullshit.
Yeah,
the way
Nintendo's keeping the price at the old prices.
I mean, at least for now, we don't know what's going to happen when they move to whatever their next console is, because, they don't go by console generations. They just come out with the new thing whenever they're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So, in the comments, let me know. Are you going to give this a go? Are you not interested? Go ahead and tell me what you think of the new Miles Morales Spider-Man.
This is what Geekicidal Tendencies thinks. He says, 16 hours, even at a speed run, at its best. It's a 24-hour game. I feel like that might be a little backwards. It doesn't matter. That's $70 plus tax. So, I don't know, $80. 24 hours, that's $3.33 per hour, just to get $12 the next day at GameSpot. That's hilarious. But I mean, if you're going to do it that way, you'd be better off just going to whatever place that you can rent video games from and rent it for the weekend, play through the game, and give it back, and then you have only spent, what, $5 for the weekend rental or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. If you could beat him today, why not? But you know what you can't beat, PB?
Women?
Besides that, you can't beat why James Wan is the right choice to direct the upcoming Castlevania movie. Best news I got. Fucking love James Wan. James Wan recently let slip that he was attached to the live action Castlevania movie. His career proves he's the perfect choice for the movie. Fucking right. James Wan revealed he has temporarily attached to the Castlevania feature film. He's the perfect director for the job, though the video game franchise hasn't come to life in live action movie yet. Here's why. Many video game franchises tackle undead monsters, but Castlevania has become a staple in the industry. The ongoing saga of the Belmont family against Dracula and his evil army is the perfect material to get the featured film treatment. Although it has yet to tackle vampires, James Wan has turned into one of the biggest uh, filmmakers in horror and has built an incredibly uh, uh, elect, electric, that's a weird word, career that has embraced many different varieties of genre filmmaking since he has started. Wan has not only had a hand in the creation of popular horror franchises like Saw, Insidious, and the Conjuring universe, but he has built his own connected universe of movies. All of Wan's work has helped him become one of the most ambitious and exciting voices in film industry. And let's not also forget he created Swamp Thing, which was fucking amazing. So if anyone was going to properly tackle Castlevania, it'd be him. Many of Wan's most memorable projects within the horror genre, but he's also created massive action blockbusters such as Fast and Furious and Aquaman. Wan is also the director who has shown repeatedly an affinity for the action genre. He also manages to maintain the same level of artistry through the set pieces he creates, whether they revolve around scares, fight sequences, or car chases. Wan is known for blending horror and action sensibilities because their style of movies that speak to him the most. Wan recently shared some unused monster designs for the demonic Valkyr from The Conjuring 2, which is hand in hand with the news that points to him directing the new Castlevania movie. The project might not come to pass, but he's still the perfect pick. The Conjuring 2 struck a nerve with audience and earned its own spin-off movie, The Nun. However, Wan's original approach for the demon was much more traditional gothic monster, which was apparently the same approach to take for the powerful vampire Dracula for his proposed Castlevania movie. Wan's representation of Dracula looks satanic in nature and more like a demon than the full classical monster. So it'd be genuinely exciting to see Wan's unconventional approach to Castlevania's large beastry of creatures. Some of the aquatic monsters in Wan's Aquaman feel like they could have been out of Castlevania, and while it gave the impression of what his interpretation of the material might look like. Wan knows how to expertly balance both action and horror. Castlevania is one of the franchises that is emblematic of these particular mixes of genre. Wan has such a love and respect for both these areas, which is the main reason why he'd make for sure that both aspects are due their recognition in the Castlevania movie. Another name that has been floated around for the Castlevania feature film is Paul W.S. Anderson, which I hope that motherfucker does not get any other fucking movie. Fuck him. The Resident Evil movies were fucking rape. Keep Anderson far fucking away. I'm going to skip that. Fuck Paul W. Anderson. Anyways, the opposite would be true with Wan, which is what necessarily is a proper take on Castlevania. It's not just another action series with monsters, as James Wan has created deeply terrifying monsters for many movies and seems to have his finger on the pulse of what works for live action updates to popular video game franchise. It's a shame if we don't get to see his movie come out. So, what do you think about James Wan doing a Castlevania movie?
I mean, I would be all for it. He's great at doing these, what I want to say, wacky, eccentric characters, and Castlevania is full of them. And then to add in whatever monsters are going to be in it, he's great with the visual effects that go with the, what do I want to say, real life stuff. What's the word I'm looking for? Practical effects.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting filmmaker because even though he does use CGI in his movies, he also uses a lot of practical effects. Like, I was watching the behind the scenes for Swamp Thing, and he used some practical effects and makeup for the Swamp Thing as well as CGI. Like, he put CGI kind of over it, but that was a lot of practical effects. So, I mean, he is, a clear fan of horror. He likes going as much practical as he can. And Keeley, I agree with you. Fuck Paul W.S. Anderson. Yes.
Who the hell's Paul W.S. Anderson?
Oh, he's the person who fucking bent the Resident Evil saga over a table and fucked it. Like I would like to do with Milia Jovovich.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're Resident Evil, but they're not the video games. It's the Umbrella Corporation, but it's not really the same Umbrella Corporation. Like, the way that I always looked at it was the same way that I look at comic book movies. It's the same characters, it's the same stuff, different universe.
Yeah, it's like that was, at a point, and like I'm not gonna lie, I did like Resident Evil 2 mostly for the soundtrack because I'm a huge fan of Slipknot. But
Yeah, I was going to mention something about the Slipknot soundtracks being the best
that
part
was
of them.
fucking the best soundtrack for those fights, especially with Nemesis. And I didn't really have a problem with his Nemesis. That was probably the most accurate character he ever did in any of those movies. But
Claire Redfield's pretty accurate.
Yeah, Claire was pretty accurate too. But I mean, like, you could see as the series went on how fucking ridiculous it got. And at a point, I was just like, I really just want to get to the end of this whole thing because I'm invested like fucking 7 movies deep and it's too late to turn back now.
Right?
Already, you
You
get to a
you
point.
know that they've gone down the wrong rabbit hole when they're like, hey, the entire time, Wesker was a good guy. Nope.
I was just like, I appreciate the spectacle, I guess, but this is just all. I mean, at this point, he's just fucking phoning it in on the last movie. It's like action scene, action scene, action scene, exposition, action scene, more fucking exposition, terrible dialogue, overacting. Yeah. We have Keely Chow screaming about Kill Switch Engage. I do agree. Kill Switch Engage is a fantastic band. I gotta say, I have more of a love for Slipknot because I met them and I saw them on their Iowa tour.
So you got to see Paul Gray live.
Yeah, it was fucking magical. That's like an experience I could never explain. I mean, I put that up there with the birth of my daughter, like number 2. like the birth of my daughter and then seeing Slipknot.
During their darkest chapter.
Yeah, it was just amazing. Like, people equal shit. Man, that's like my favorite. Like all of their lyrics in that song. What was that one? Where he's like, he talks about turning a knife and some shit. Like all them lyrics on that CD were fucked up. He was like,
Yeah, they were on a lot. All of them were on a lot of drugs, and they all hated each other for different reasons.
I know, that makes the best music though.
Yeah, and he also took his shirt off and took glass and cut himself for screams.
And I just want to point out, yes, Zod is cool. Thank you. Yeah, but I mean, you know, I came from that magical era, and if there's one thing Resident Evil Apocalypse did well, was that soundtrack was on point. I had already had the Slipknot album, but I did buy the Resident Evil soundtrack. I still fucking have the Resident Evil soundtrack somewhere. Like, holy shit. And yes, geekicidal tendencies. The only reason why I sat through all of those movies, Mila looks good in shiny, tight pants, though. Not that I know, not that any of us know. Yeah. And you guys want to hear something funny? Okay, here's the real deal. Why she got that role and why she was in every Resident Evil is she's fucking married to Paul W.S. Anderson. And that made me hate him even more. It's just like, you know, don't get me wrong. I liked her in the movie with Bruce Willis, The Fifth Element. I definitely saw she had potential, but honestly, like, she is not what I'd say is the greatest actress. Like, she knows the roles that she's suited for, and she plays that character well, but she ain't going for like an Oscar or anything. So the role that they cast her in is perfect for the type of actress that she is, and she plays that role well. And the one thing I appreciate is I've never seen her in interviews going, I'm in the next fucking Paul W. S. Anderson extraordinaire. I'm a fucking tough female empowered woman. She doesn't say that shit. She just goes in, kicks a lot of ass, and, you know, there you go. And so, you know, PB, I see you in the fucking comments. All right, she did look good in them shiny pants. So.
She did. Like, everybody's definitely looking at her pants because there ain't nothing to look at above her pants.
Yeah, but I think she's a very unique looking actress, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, she's got a different look. Do you know what I mean? Like, now I'm gonna sound like an asshole here, but she has a different look than like Kate Beckinsale and all the rest of the
Kate Beckinsale.
Oh yeah,
I would go under that world,
dude. That was the only reason why anyone stuck through all of those fucking shitty Underworld. Like, the first one was good, and I think Rise of the Lycans was the second or the third one. I think it was the third one. Yeah, because it was Underworld, Evolution, and then I loved Rise of the Lycans. That was really good. I liked that. But then after that, they went down the rabbit hole too. But the only reason why I continued was because of her. Because I'll tell you right now. But I wanted to bring up an article about a crazy person now.
We already talked about Brie Larson.
Oh, you know the irony? It's a crazy person, but now we're going to crazy white males. This comes to us from the Guardian, and if you guys haven't heard this name, let me give you some context. We're going to talk about Steve Bannon. This motherfucker is like
Steve fucking Bannon, mister. I will hop on the Bannon wagon as soon as it's politically expedient and off just as quickly.
So this motherfucker got banned from Twitter, and I've heard bans where I'm like, that person doesn't deserve a ban. I'm gonna say this is the first person I heard banned from Twitter who actually fucking deserved the ban. This motherfucker. I just gotta read this. Steve Bannon was banned by Twitter for calling for what's his name? It's further Dr. Anthony
Fauci.
Dr. Fauci.
He's called for a ban, or he got banned for calling for Fauci to be beheaded.
Man, there's other people that have called for beheadings or shown them beheading a fake version of something, and they're still on Twitter.
No. This gets better because when I read that, I go, oh, I've said worse on my channel. But then this dude took it to a whole new level because Bannon, he just doesn't say a comment. This motherfucker goes like the whole fucking 50 yards. Forget 9 yards. I mean, this dude is straight up nuts. But anyways, Twitter has banned the account of former Donald Trump advisor and surrogate Steve Bannon after he called for the beheading of Dr. Anthony, what was that last name? Fauci? There we go. Fauci and FBI Director Christopher Weir, and the posting of their heads outside of the White House as a warning. He made a fucking.
You know who I was trying to talk about though when I talked about the beheadings and stuff is that Kathy Griffith when she had those beheading things.
Yeah, this dude made fucking memes of it and posted it, and he was speaking on his podcast, The War Room, which was distributed in video form to a number of social media outlets. The far-right provocator appeared to endorse violence against Weir, and the U.S. senior infectious disease expert. Second term kicks off with the firing of Weir and the firing of, that other guy. No, I actually want to go a step further, but the president is a kind-hearted man. I'd actually go back to the old times of Tudor England. I'd put their heads on a pike, right? I'd put them on two corners of the White House, warning federal bureaucrats, you can either get with the program or you're gone. And by you're gone, he means permanently.
Wow, that's worse than when you attacked the fucking bagel consortium.
Like, holy shit, dude. He said
I feel like Zad pulled up this article so he could have a good laugh.
He said to put them in the corner of the White House as a warning to, dude, when I say on my program, whoa, bro, scale it back a bit. Holy shit.
He wants him to mount that son of a bitch.
Yep. There has
He
been
wants them to
mounting
put him on the pikes on 1400 Penn. Be like, this is what happens when you go Fauci.
There has been.
That's fucking crazy, man. I told you, he's fucking whack job.
This guy, when Donald Trump goes, bro, I say some wacky shit on Twitter, but you're too extreme for me. You know that you are a crazy motherfucker. Like, they attack him, but I think most people are scared to say anything about him because he'll come to
About Steve Bannon?
But I feel like Bannon's the type that if you print something about him, he will come to your fucking house and find you.
He's Cave Johnson's speech, but literally. He's the guy that's going to burn your house down with the lemons.
Like, holy fucking shit. This guy. Now, they talk about how Trump incites violence. This motherfucker talked about putting people's heads on a pike and putting them outside the fucking White House.
Yeah, but
Jesus
that's
Christ.
probably because Trump told him to do it. That's what somebody out there will claim. They'll be like, see what Trump inspired? If it wasn't for Trump saying anything about Fauci, Mr. Psycho Bannon wouldn't have said anything. Been like, Trump is not responsible for other people's fucking thoughts.
Bannon was a part of the more radical Tea Party group, right?
Yeah,
he was part of the gasoline party.
That motherfucker was the gasoline, the fucking match, watch you burn while you're screaming, oh my God, and fucking videotape it. I mean, this is the extreme, this is the extreme side. Like, holy fuck, man. The moves against banning came hours after Facebook banned the Stop and Steal, a group involved in organizing protests this weekend throughout the United States against the presidential count. One post shared in the Center for Countering Digital Hate declared, neither side is going to concede. Time to clean the guns and hit the streets. Jesus Christ. The increasing... Like, holy fuck, dude. This shit is getting out of control. Like, look, I'm going to do my program tomorrow, and we're going to talk about some suspicious stuff going on with accounts. That's for another day. But come on, people, scale it back. We don't need to be cleaning the guns. Like, calm down.
Well, I mean, hold on a second. Don't say that too soon. I most definitely need to be cleaning my gun because it is deer hunting season in like 2 weeks.
That's fair enough. Like, if you're going hunting, that's one thing. If you're going hunting for the other side, holy fuck! Like,
yeah, I'm not going out into the woods to go hunting for wacky liberals.
like this is the thing. And look, no matter what side of the argument you fall on, I don't care. We try to play it down the middle here. But you know what's crazy is it is doing shit like this. This makes either side look so fucking out there. And look, there is such a thing as being too far right, and that's like so far off the fucking spectrum. Like, holy fucking shit, man. Calm the fuck down, Bannon. You're gonna have a fucking heart attack. Like, his face is red in this picture. Like,
I don't feel like he owns any guns for that. He just owns guns for show. Like, yep, that was a gun that somebody used for some historical purposes. I keep it up there on my shelf.
like,
but you other people, you get upset. Like, shut the hell up, guy.
But yeah, see, I wanted to bring this up because I've had some people come on my channel and be like, oh, you're a crazed Trump supporter. And no, I don't endorse
Whoa. You are crazed and you are a Trump supporter. These two things have nothing to do with each other. Like, your support for Trump has nothing to do with your hate for XYZ celebrity. I don't want to say her name.
But yeah, like my craziness for these articles I read and this, gender swapping bullshit and everything we've covered tonight, that's a totally different thing. And keep in mind, I might say some crazy shit from time to time, like I'm gonna push someone down a flight of stairs and hope they die. But I'm not gonna go and actually find Sophie Turner and push her down a fucking flight of stairs. I mean, if I see her in a public speaking, I might trip her and laugh.
I don't believe you. You're so full of crap. You walk up to her and you be like, I loved you on Game of Thrones, and you were pretty damn good in X-Men. Can I buy you a coffee?
No, I honestly have no type of feeling towards Sophie Turner. I think she's okay at best because she was given good lines in Game of Thrones, but Dark Phoenix, man. Holy fuck. She has no other range but crying and acting scared. Like, she hasn't developed the other sets of acting skills that you need for roles. Like, she's very one note. And if you put her in that role, she'll knock it out of the park. But when she needs to add depth, it's just not there. That's my issue with her acting.
I could probably agree with most of that, but my counter to that would be last night me and the wife were watching the movie Doom. Do you remember the movie Doom?
Oh yeah, I was actually watching it the other day.
With The Rock. When everybody and their mother was saying, "Oh, that movie has The Rock. That's the guy that takes every role. He'll do anything in Hollywood." Well, how'd that work out now?
Yeah, Keely, I'm really on the fence with that statement. I can't really choose. I'd say Captain. Jesus Christ, Keely, you're putting me on the spot with this.
Oh, yeah, now I'm going to ask you straight up, and you will answer the question. Is Dark Phoenix better than Captain Marvel? Yes or no?
Just flip a coin.
That's like asking me, is one pile of shit better than the other? Because they're both piles of shit.
They are.
It's like,
I mean, that's what Ian would say. That's one big pile of shit.
Oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this.
You got to pick one.
He picks Justice League.
I knew it.
Yeah, I picked Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay, so is Dark Phoenix better than Captain Marvel?
Oh my God. I feel like this is a no-win either way, but I'd say just for Michael Fassbender alone, fuck me, I take Dark Phoenix over Captain Marvel.
Okay, there you go. That was easy. You want to know the other easy out? You could have said Dark Phoenix is better because it's 15 minutes shorter, so the horror is not as long.
Yeah, I mean, there were parts in Dark Phoenix, at least I could enjoy. And there were like fight scenes where I could kind of be like, oh, that's interesting. It's just the story pissed me off. Like, if I never ever knew anything about the Dark Phoenix saga, if I didn't have the fucking comic book right in the back seat with me, I knew nothing about the mythology and just went in with no knowledge, it'd be a great spectacle to watch. I wouldn't fucking understand what was going on in the movie still.
I don't need to know where you store your comic books on your person. That was a very personal thing to say. You keep them in your back seat? My God.
My comics are always close to me. But anyways, I mean, if I had no knowledge of what the X-Men was and what Dark Phoenix was, and I just went in comparing two action movies, right? Captain Marvel versus Dark Phoenix. Then I would have to say Dark Phoenix is better, simply because Captain Marvel has a point in the movie where it just slows the fuck down, and so much like random, unimportant shit is happening, and it's just quite honestly boring. It's probably the first.
You mean that entire middle hour?
Oh yeah, it's just fucking. You cut that out of Captain Marvel, and you not only miss nothing in the movie, but you just jump straight to like.
Whoa. Don't say that you don't miss nothing. You miss Nick Fury building his relationship with a cat.
But I mean, that's the other thing too. Dark Phoenix pissed me off a lot, but I gotta say the whole thing with Nick Fury, and I'm not the only person who thought this is like a huge thing, but the build-up and then the reveal that a fucking cat took his eye out was the most redcon, stupidest fucking thing. that Marvel did. Like, people bitch about the Trevor reveal in fucking Iron Man. That does not hold a candle to revealing that the most badass character that you built up with this mysterious storyline got his eye taken out, not in an epic fight, but by a fucking cat.
Whoa. You think the most badass character is Nick Fury?
I mean, oh yeah, he's this normal human guy who just
Now,
charges in with a fucking 9mm. And it's Samuel L. Jackson.
We get to pick anybody in the Avenger universe? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, well then it's got to be Mantis. I don't see how you pick anybody but Mantis.
Wow. I didn't see that choice coming.
No, you didn't.
Now I got to put my article out. What makes Mantis? She pulls out emotions. Like
that is correct. And how many other superheroes or any other characters in the entire MCU keep a almost god level villain at bay for I don't know how many decades? I have no idea how old she is. Sounds like a badass to me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was actually going over an Infinity War review today. So, yeah. All right. You got me there. That's a very compelling argument. I forgot about that whole thing.
She could have put Thanos to sleep, but they did do a good point, is that Thanos' mind was very, very strong compared to a fucking planet with a huge ego. Oh, wait. That's why.
Yeah, I gotta give it to him that, like, when you think about that fight too, Thanos only started getting free after she lost her grip on him. So yeah, I mean that's pretty god tier power right there.
Well, yeah, she lost her grip because Star-Lord didn't help take the fucking glove.
Well, yeah, and he fucking hit him with the butt of his gun and like smacked him in the face with it. So yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I didn't think about that, but still, Nick Fury charges people with a 9mm. So, and we're not talking about like normal people. He charges fucking people who could like rip them in half. He's just like, "Do you speak English, motherfucker? English? Do you speak it?"
God, if he would have fucking done that in a movie and any of the movies, just fucking pick one. That would have made Captain Marvel better.
Man, we all thought Nick Fury was going to lose his eye into like a great fight, or someone who he really trusted was going to like backstab him, betray him. Pussy.
Well, I mean that is kind of a statement within itself. So kudos, Marvel, for that little innuendo. They snuck that one in there. They're like, I don't think they get the deeper meaning of the scene. So let me go to a shit show that I'll be talking about. And why I'm prefacing this article is because I'm getting ready to do my reviews, and I need to highlight how this show just gets worse as I keep on watching this. So this comes to us from Sci-Fi Wire. So let's talk about another franchise that's getting ready to be fucking raped. STD. I'm sorry, Star Trek Discovery. Trans representation is both groundbreaking and heartbreaking.
Well, I mean, that's
Warning.
perfect for a show with the acronym STD.
So, warning, in case you give a shit about this fucking train wreck of a show, there's going to be spoilers in here. If not, which I'm sure you don't, then I'm going to continue with the article.
Dude, the people that care about this show don't care about this show.
My own personal Star Trek journey began aboard the NCC 1707.
How many seasons is this show on now?
3, I think. I just crossed the finish line for the first season, and I'm here to tell you, how they wasted a fucking actor. The guy who was in it was from shows like Brotherhood and things like that. I forget his fucking name, but he's a great actor, and they fucking wasted him for representation. But anyways, I'm not gonna give away my review, but boy, do I got a lot to say. And now I saw Picard first, so I didn't get why people were so pissed off. But watching STD, I finally understand what people are talking about who are like hardcore Trek fans, because I only really like Generation, some of Deep Space Nine. You know, I'm not really that deep into it. Like Next Generation was kind of my jam. I like some of the old school, you know, and the old movies, but I mean, I didn't have a problem with the J.J. Abrams, but now I see what the problem is. So here's one big problem. The Enterprise D, the flagship of the Starfleet in the era of the Next Generation and home of Captain Picard and his crew, the United Federation of Planets, as presented to me, was promise of a hopeful, ideal future, one that celebrated the concept of infinite diversity in infinite combinations. And yet, growing up as a closeted queer kid, I always sort of wish there was someone like me aboard any of the ships and space stations we encountered along the way. There is an inherited paradox in the creation of a TV series set in the future that was intended to be a better world today. That paradox being that the production and creative direction of said show is still ruled by cultural restrictions of the time in which it was produced. When George Takeda asked Gene Roddenberry why there was no gay characters in Star Trek in the 60s, Roddenberry answered honestly, if I dealt with that issue, I wouldn't be able to deal with any issue because I would be canceled. Things didn't get better by the time the Next Generation rolled around. Writer David Gould left the series when an episode he wrote as an AIDS allegory was shelved, largely because it included a brief scene in which two background characters were vaguely implied to be in a homosexual relationship. Deep Space Nine actor Andrew J. Robinson said in an interview that the original chosen to portray Elaine as an omnisexual, but the show never gave him space to explore
What the
it.
fuck is that?
I have no fucking clue what an omnisexual is. Holy fuck. And while developing gay characters, Stamets and Kilber for Discovery, Brian Fuller cited the letter writing pushback when the Seven of Nine was first being introduced in Voyager. Queer fans, especially
the best character.
Queer fans, especially trans fans of Star Trek and other sci-fi stories, have often seek refuge within allegories and coded characters and outright headcanon wishes. And there is perhaps no more perfect example that of this than DS9's Jedis Dax and Trill symbiotes. For years, Jedis has been held up as an example of how it can be for people to switch to calling someone by a new name or to recognize that someone they knew as another gender previously has had an adjustment. But while these moments have been extremely important to the members of trans...
An adjustment? Yeah, if that's what you call chopping your fucking dick off, an adjustment? No, tucking it back like RuPaul does is an adjustment. Chopping it off is insane.
But while these moments have been extremely important to members of the trans communities, they are reciprocations of experiences, not representations of a group. There's a real dark side to this. Some voices sought to dismiss or invalidate the importance of trans casting on Discovery.
This person sounds like they'd get killed immediately by someone from the Klingon Empire.
Dude,
How do these people
immediately.
talk about this and then they forget? Oh wait, they'd probably be killed by the empires. Any empire, anyone that's not a part of the Federation, they'd be killed immediately because they just don't want to deal with them.
They're like, oh,
Player
you want to
nine,
be a
let's just kill
weirdo?
you.
Dead.
So yeah, I'm going to skip down to where this pertains to season 3 because they go on their representation spiel, and I'm really getting
Oh my god.
how fucking long they go into this diatribe. So this is
What's
why.
up, Nico?
Hey, what's up, Nico? So let's go down to the fun and fascinating part. I'm not on season 3 yet, but this is why once I finally did find out that Star Trek was expanding its inclusivity with some long overdue trans characters, I was thrilled. It took the excitement I already had for Discovery Season 3 and punched it up to Warp 9. Holy fuck. I had some mixed emotions when I learned that both characters would be the hosts of a Trill symbiote, but upon speaking to Del Borera about their role and their emphasis on the fact that both characters were trans prior to the implantation of the Till symbiote and remain transgender regardless of the Till's presence, I welcomed it as a solid subversion of my previous concerns. Taking hosts and giving them agency over their own
This is just
gender
confusing
identity.
me. I'm sorry. I got lost. I want to go back to talking about how Klingons would kill these people. That's more entertaining. Like, out of everyone in this panel, I definitely think Zod could successfully take them on in a combat trial.
Oh yeah. No talking here. But anyways, this is from season 3, episode 4, Forget Me Not, where we get the first deep dive into Andrea as a character and an introduction to Gray. For the very first time, I was gutted. The episode got me so upset that I had to stop it midway to compose myself before finishing. Because as those who have seen the episode already know, when we met Gary, he is dead. Gary's story in the episode is a traumatic memory of Adria's past, their lost love, who died and passed the Till symbiote over to them. If you like burying your queers, well, you'll love burying them inside another queer.
I don't love doing anything with any queer. What? What?
Like,
Are they talking about the readers, the fans, or the writers of the show?
I don't fucking know.
Or all three? Or everybody?
No, I guess Gary's dead when we first start the story off.
Oh my
now
god.
I'm on record saying that I do not believe that immortal queer characters is a solution to burying them. In order to truly gain a justifiable level of diverse representation, we need enough various groups represented in narratives so that one character's experiences, their losses, and their pains do not have to act as a stand-in for the entire community. That said, it's hard to know someone if you just killed them off immediately, if they're disposable. I'm angry because even while Star Trek has taken great strides to rectify the mistakes made in the past.
Did you notice that your father's here?
No, I didn't.
He is. He asked somebody to please stab me in the eye with a pencil.
Now, see, that's kind of talk.
Okay, let me call Joker, or do you want John Wick?
So
the Joker didn't stab anybody with a pencil. He just did a magic trick. Not the same.
That's right. Oh yeah, he didn't.
So So in the episode, I guess they got a trans queer character that the story starts off with them dead, and then it goes back through their memories. The episode's ends in a slightly more ambiguous and, for some perspective, even sweet place. Gary seems to live inside of Andrea, speaking directly to them. The dialogue implies that his presence is not some sort of memory ghost, but perhaps a strange anomaly within the host. Because of this, I wanted to give the show the benefit of the doubt that maybe they're trying to simply stumble into the execution. I felt obligated to address the death of Gary head on, to learn about their own feelings and about the given script and what I saw intended. The rest is just talking about how great the episode is, representation, blah blah blah.
Representation matters.
In Discovery Season 4, they hope to see more trans people represented in a better way. Given the show's constant struggle,
in a better way, they dedicated an entire fucking episode to him.
So this is the problem you get when you pander to these fucking weird people in these shows. So they get a gay transgendered, and keep in mind this is a symbiote, so it's like not even a human organism.
Like the symbiote is transgendered, or the human is transgendered, or
the symbiote inhabited the body of a transgendered and got all their memories, and it shows the struggle.
Like, I don't fucking know.
Like, who the fuck? First of all, at least I know what episode to skip when I get to. Secondly, how does this add to the story?
If you're watching the show, you better not be one of those people that is like, oh, I was told what the episode's about so I can skip it, when you never know when there's something inside of the episode that is revealed that is crucial to the overall plot. Then again, this is Star Trek Discovery, so you probably skip it.
Like, this show, okay, given how it's grossly destroyed most of the canon, and I'm not huge into Star Trek per se, but
it doesn't stick to the goddamn timeline.
But I can even recognize where they've stitched together and just made a freaking Frankenstein storyline. On top of that, the biggest thing you take out of an episode that I feel like they're going for an emotional kind of thing with the characters is that they show it from someone who's gay that's already dead, named Gary, the most generic name ever.
Right, I love it. I mean, what's disappointing is he's one of the best characters in Legends of Tomorrow, and now you're going to disparage the name Gary because, I don't know, it's supposed to be a lady? Or was it supposed to be a lady that turned into a man because she's been well adjusted? I don't fucking know.
Like, this is the problem. This is the problem with everybody trying to do this representation. And, you know, we hear it on other channels, but this really does drive home that point that you can't give any of these wacky people even an inch because they want a fucking 3-mile reach. It's so ridiculous that the thing that they focus on is not the content of the story or not what the message is, because these people don't care about the fucking story. They care about what check boxes you're ticking off. And if you meet all of them, you're golden. If you even skip one.
No, guy. No, you're wrong. You just said it's about the check boxes, and they did check all the boxes, and they're still pissed off about it. They're like, oh, well, we got represented, but... And I was like, wait, what do you mean, but? I thought, that's what you've been asking for the, let's say, entirety of this show. Let's just keep it to this show. So you've been asking for representation the whole time, and they dedicate an entire fucking episode to you. And you're like, but, and then I would respond with, but I'm not going to listen after the but because you got what you asked for. I guess you should have went with the old adage, be careful what you wish for.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. And Geekicidal, we are talking about STD, one of the worst iterations of Star Trek I've ever fucking seen in my entire life. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a Trekkie. I'm not a hardcore fan. I don't dress up.
You
I
mean
don't
a
go to
Trekkie?
conventions. Whatever. I'm not one of them people.
What do you mean,
I don't
whatever?
speak Klingon. I speak
I know how to say Star Trek.
Mandalorian.
Can you say Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Interesting.
But here's the thing. I don't get how half of these episodes represent what the franchise is supposed to be. And look, I came from Next Gen. Like, I'm not in here with all of this fucking knowledge, but I do have enough knowledge to know that this is way off course from what the original is. And this is exactly why a show I do know about got fucked over, Doctor Who. As soon as they let representation in, it fucking destroyed that series. 50 years, just think about that, of Doctor Who legacy undone in fucking 2 seasons. It astonishes me. Just like, with Star Wars and a legacy destroyed by 3 films. It's fucking astonishing. Well, technically 1 shitty film, but Force Awakens.
You've guys heard Bo Burnham's song "Pandering"? It is a song that makes fun of the modern country thing. When you listen to it and kind of how he makes fun of it, it's basically anyone who's just trying to make money off of people that don't understand it and don't care.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is just another symptom of destroying great legacy films. Like, the Trek series has some great films. I mean, Wrath of Khan is fucking classic. Any of those films, even the worst Star Trek film, is better than the best episode of STD. And yes,
I thought you were going to say Star Trek Generations. I love that movie.
Oh, Generations was good too. Like, any of those were better than half of the shit. Picard was the worst.
The J.J. Abrams movies. How are you better than?
Yes, the J.J. Abrams movies are better than Star Trek Discovery.
I'm not a hater of the J.J. films. I catch a lot of shit for it. But look, J.J. does what J.J. does best: copy and paste. You know what you're getting. People
legacies.
get pissed off. The man's been consistent for years. he hasn't done anything different.
It killed 2 legacies, man. He killed Star Trek and Star Wars.
No.
Yes.
Here's the thing. He did not kill the legacies, okay? He did not kill, and he definitely didn't kill Star Wars. I give that completely solely to Rian Johnson. I've never seen one man come in and just completely.
Rian Johnson didn't resurrect the Emperor.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not saying he made things better.
How do you survive? Who fucking knows?
In no way did I say he came in and there was an uptick. Like, he looked at what happened and goes, well, shit, I can't copy and paste anything because Ryan just came in. Okay, it's like when you start a puzzle, right? JJ had the basic framework done. All Rian Johnson had to do was stick with a designated puzzle. But Ryan said, fuck that puzzle. And he knocked the pieces all over the place and said, good luck.
I know. He knocked the pieces on the floor and he took his shit on the table. And he's like, work with that, JJ.
What JJ did is he got all the edge pieces and built the frame of it. Because that's the easy part.
Yep.
And then Ryan Johnson threw some pieces there, threw some out, lost us several of them. So then JJ had to create new pieces to try to make it work, but it didn't work, and the picture just looked terrible at the end.
He picked some of the pieces up off of the floor, and he's like, they make a Death Star part. Look at that. That's cool. This is a great analogy. I am loving this analogy.
Yeah, yeah. So Stone Cold, I do agree. He set up the track, but that does not necessarily mean it was a path to destruction. I mean,
I'll read. Hold on. Let me read Stone Cold Jeremy's comment. He says, JJ set up the sequel trilogy on the Star Trek to destruction and put it in motion. I'm making fun of you, Zod, because you can't say Star Trek.
He also accelerated it. He also said RJ just accelerated it.
Yeah, light speed through a fucking ship. He took it to fucking ludicrous speed. Oh man, I remember the last night of the debate, I was watching the Lauder with Crowder stream, and he made a fucking ludicrous freaking joke for Spaceballs, and I almost fell on the goddamn floor.
Yeah, Geekocidal Tendencies, you want to read that?
Oh, hold on, I was taking a drink. Oh god, now I knocked something on the floor. Don't know which comment you got up. I will vamp until I can read this fucking thing. Geekocidal Tendencies said, not for nothing, but you cannot expect anyone to take your criticism seriously without actually, I don't know, watch it, tell me you hate it, 100% respect your opinion.
Yeah. And here's the thing. When you got these projects, the problem is when you let directors have complete creative control is when you get things like this that happen. And let's be real, Kathleen Kennedy does not know how to fucking manage anything. So she was just like, hey, here you go. JJ, do what you want to do. And then she said, hey, you're Ryan Johnson. You did like fucking 2 movies before this that were somewhat acclaimed. Go nuts. And even the 2 directors have such different styles. Like, anyways,
I want John Favreau to be the one in charge of Lucasfilm.
Oh, I think that'd be a great choice considering The Mandalorian. It might not be the greatest.
Yeah, but you just told me The Mandalorian was committing cardinal sins against Westerns and Indians.
And I say that we should just let him commit all the fucking cardinal sins he wants if he fucking fixes Star Wars. Let him just fucking cherry pick and discriminate everybody in the West.
What did you call him in the chat before? Who was that? Oh, I wish I could remember. Native Tatooinians? Tatooinians? Yep. I can't fucking read that word. I read it like 5 times before, and I was like, that definitely sounds like something that Zod would read perfectly. Tatooinians? Yeah. Tatooinians? Yeah. Oh, man, that don't sound right either, but it's probably is.
And Curtis Wise, he says, poop on the table, Ryan Johnson. Look, it's art.
Bingo. Put it on the wall.
Oh, my God. So let's go on to the last article of the night, which is...
you know that Ryan Johnson's parents do not have a copy of The Last Jedi on their fridge at home.
Oh, no. That's one of the ones where, like, they do bad in school and they hide the report card or they burn it and they're like, oh, it never happened. That's half of JJ's work. Or not. They're like,
no, that was the other Ryan Johnson that did The Last Jedi. That wasn't our Ryan Johnson. That was with a Y.
So, there are talks that Boba Fett miniseries is possibly filming before The Mandalorian Season 3. The first episode.
Miniseries.
Yeah, I'm super fucking stoked about this. The first episode of The Mandalorian Season 2 has already broken viewership records for the streaming show. Not only did it debut the second season introduction of Timothy Olyphant, Oliphant's Cobb.
You said his name correct earlier when you didn't have it in front of your face.
Yeah, I'm also getting a little bit tired. But also Tamara
Morrison.
Yeah, as Boba Fett. I'm getting tired.
He's
in the
getting
final
drunker.
moments, no, actually, I wasn't drinking. In the final moments
That's
of
a
Chapter
first.
9, I know, as the Marshal, even ever since Morrison was reported by Hollywood Reporter to be casted as Boba Fett with a minor role in The Mandalorian Season 2, rumors have surfaced about a series or movie in development about the famed bounty hunter. A new report about the production of The Mandalorian Season 3 mentions a rumor that the director heard about the possibility of a Boba Fett miniseries in development and planned to begin production in the next week. One explanation could be rumors that the Mandalorian-related project, I hear possibly a Boba Fett miniseries, would film first, starting next week, and with the Mandalorian Season 3 following after a month-long break. So what does this mean? At the end of October, it was discovered that the trademark of Boba Fett was renewed by Lucasfilm, indicating they were going to go all in on the merchandising of the character. This is despite Fett's role in this season of The Mandalorian having been reported as fairly limited, so the bounty hunter is getting his own miniseries could be another explanation for the new push, especially since this new miniseries will apparently begin production not even a week from now, before the next season of The Mandalorian. For the first time in years, Boba Fett has returned to live action. He isn't in the best shape, missing his iconic armor, now in the hands of Din Djarin. There's a question of what this miniseries will even be about. It would be odd for it to be a prequel explaining how he survives the Sarlacc pit if he's missing his beloved armor. And there's no telling when and how Boba will get his armor back in the Mando series. There's a strong possibilities that fans could see Fett get his armor back this season of The Mandalorian, leading into his own miniseries. So I'm just gonna say, fuck yeah.
Man, I know you didn't see it, but I will tell you that no, he does not meet up with Fett in this episode, which just keeps getting me more like, come on, when is it going to happen?
I know, like it's gonna. There's been a lot of speculation how that meeting's gonna go, but I think that within the Mandalorian, if they're talking about production when started on this miniseries, some miniseries. Now it's not entirely confirmed it's Boba Fett's miniseries, but giving the response, it probably is. So if this miniseries is slated to come before The Mandalorian Season 3, it would make sense that it would probably be a story in between, bridging the gap between Season 2 and 3. That's what I'm gathering they're going to go for if they're smart.
I don't want to see old Boba Fett.
I want to see any Boba Fett since fucking Return of the
Why?
Jedi.
Why do you want to see old Boba Fett?
Because he's a badass.
You think old Boba Fett's going to be a badass?
I think any age Boba Fett is a badass.
Okay.
Considering
So
what it showed at the end of the first episode, that he's basically been surviving off the land. Or
I'm
that's
gonna
what
have
it
to rewatch
inferred.
this first episode. I don't fucking remember the ending at
He's
all.
at the very end. He's at the very end. He's the bald guy at the very end.
So the only reason that we know that that's Boba Fett is because they said so?
It even said his name in the credits, which I don't think they should have done.
But no, you can see there when you look at the picture, because they show the picture, you can see his face. It's like he's got a scar on his eye and everything.
Okay.
I don't know if you see that shot in the show because I've got to catch up. So, but
Yeah, hopefully you
yeah.
don't mustard.
Oh my God, no. Okay. So, but
Oh my
anyway,
god, yes.
I would be interested in seeing a miniseries. I've always thought he's the most shafted character and the most interesting. And like I've read Shadows of the Empire and played games and all of that stuff, and I know he's had a larger role, but never in film. And he looked so cool and was so like menacing. And
he's on Tatooine, and he's been living on Tatooine this whole time since he climbed out of the Sarlacc pit, and he lost his armor to Timothy Oliphant?
No, he didn't lose it. He
Probably-
must have lost it to the fucking Jawas.
Okay.
I mean, that's a
Or he
That's a
sold it to the
So
Jawas.
why do you want to see some old Boba Fett instead of seeing him after he climbed out of the Sarlacc pit?
because we already know what happened. He climbed out of that fucker. He's a badass. He's been living off the land. I don't need a retrend of that. I wanna see.
What do you mean
how
retrend?
he-
What are you talking about? You have
I
no
wanna
idea what
see him-
happened.
I want to see him fight
No,
for the
they
top
can
spot.
literally do whatever they want. It's their fucking option. So now that they've connected it, they can be like, hey, here's the story of how he got to this point. Instead of, hey, here's old ass man going forward that ain't gonna fucking do much. Are you enjoying Star Trek Picard?
All right, that's apples and oranges.
It's not fucking apples and oranges.
Picard was never in shape of fighting people to begin with. He just sat on the fucking bridge and was like, engage. He wasn't
Oh,
a big
man.
time
Fighting people with
fighter.
his mind, motherfucker.
The only time he was ever badass was when he got assimilated, and I was like, oh yeah. And then
That's
they
right,
fixed him the
fucking Borg Picard just out there whooping ass.
next- like that was badass. But I mean, Fett is different. We've seen him, or not him, I guess you'd say, with Jango Fett and what the Fets could do. We saw Clone Wars and the rise of his badassery as a kid.
Okay,
I mean,
what do you think an old ass Boba Fett is gonna do? He'd be like, hey man, thanks for giving me my armor back. Now I can sell it for a bunch of rations. Because I'm poor as
Nah.
fuck.
No, man, I think he would want to climb the bounty hunting.
Why? He's gonna die at any moment.
How old do you think he is?
Yeah, I mean, in the universe,
How old do I think he
figured his
is?
age.
He does
Yeah.
not age in the typical fashion that you or I age because we are fucking bounty hunters.
Yeah, and I mean, look at okay, so it is implied that he's somewhat a generic, or he's a genetic clone, right, of Jango.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
just doesn't
unaltered
have
clone.
he just doesn't have the enhanced aging.
Thing.
He
Yeah,
didn't have the
So-
enhanced aging. That's it.
yeah. So the
Or
clones.
the Order 66.
So the clones were old in Rebels, and they still kicked ass. I mean, and they had gained weight and all that. So that would lead me to believe that an old Boba Fett would not necessarily, not have his training that he honed his whole entire life since he was a child and watched his father's head get cut off and built up the reputation of being the most badass bounty hunter. You don't lose those skills. That's like saying Liam Neeson was too old to whoop some ass and
to
take
die in the first movie he was in Star Wars? No, he wasn't too old for that. But that was in the year 1998.
Okay, I'm talking about in Taken. Liam Neeson is old as fuck, still beating people's ass because he has a particular set of skills, and those skills don't go away just because you age. Maybe your reflexes slow down a bit and things like that. But we're not talking about he's going to be flipping
Liam Neeson
motherfuckers
doesn't
over his
live
shoulder.
in a galaxy far, far away with wizards, or not. My mistake, not wizards, sorcerers.
Space sorcerers.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, my whole point is that you don't need enhanced reflexes or whatnot to draw a gun quicker than the other person. You don't need skills to fucking light someone on fire. You don't need skills to get the drop on people. You just need, your age doesn't depend on it. You just need to know what you're doing. He is the most seasoned bounty hunter. He had the top spot, and now Mando took that.
What do you mean he took the top spot? How do you just take the top spot?
Most sought after. Yeah, Boba disappeared. They're all like, "Oh, this motherfucker's dead," and then Mando comes along, and they're like, "Oh, but this."
You think
this
that
guy
Boba
right
Fett
here,
was the top bounty hunter in the galaxy?
No, he was the top Mandalorian.
That's
he
it.
was the top. Yeah, he was the top of the Mandalorian class. Whatever. He was still the most sought after. The Empire.
So he was the
hired
top
him
of the
first.
Mandalorian class, and he didn't even have Beskar.
Well, I mean, he had his own design. I don't know. I'd have to get a EU expert in for that.
I'm going to tell you why.
I'm sure.
We ain't bringing any fucking weirdos in here. Unless you bring Jack and ask him.
His armor is his dad's armor. That helmet is his dad's helmet.
No, I know that. It's not made of Beskar, though, is it?
I don't know what his dad's stuff is made out of, but that's the main reason why he still wears that armor.
As he should. I would want to wear my helmet that had a, severed head inside of it.
I mean, I hope he took the head out.
I'm pretty sure he took the head out. How the hell are you going to wear it without taking the head out, Zod? Come on now.
I guess that's not a good way to get ahead in life.
Jesus Christ.
I gotta be honest with you. When I saw that movie, I always knew where Django was heading.
Oh my God.
It's safe to say he'll never be the head of a big corporation.
He's never going to get ahead in life?
No. Someone should have yelled heads up.
You know who did get ahead in life?
Who?
Boba Fett.
I mean, it could be Beskar armor because it's as shiny as Beskar.
I mean, it's painted, so it's true that we don't necessarily know what it's made out of. And in episode 1, I didn't watch episode 2 yet, there is at least one blaster bolt that I see reflect off of it.
Yeah.
The dent in the helmet is from a very high-powered blast from Cad Bane in the helmet.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Mandalorians were never the best bounty hunters in the galaxy. You got people like Cad Bane rolling around out there. You don't know where he is.
Yeah, but Cad Bane dies. That's the whole...
Allegedly. Do you see Cad Bane's warm corpse?
Nope. It was those lost clips, and we don't fucking count those because they were not even fully rendered. That was just an idea of what they had before.
I want them to fucking finish that one though with Boba Fett and stuff.
Hey, maybe, just maybe, they will take some of those clips or parts of those episodes and move them into that new series that they're making, The Bad Batch. They'd fit in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, there's
that'd
going to be
great.
bounty hunters in that show.
So Keely Chow says heads definitely rolled.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Curtis YZ says Django was just a bounty hunter with good armor, not Beskar though. It's the armor that Mando has before he got Beskar armor.
So, do you know what it's made out of then? Is there like something that reflects blaster bolts better than stormtrooper armor? Because I feel like stormtrooper armor is just to make you stick out in the forest.
Oh yeah, that fucking thing doesn't protect you from anything.
No,
No,
that's
stormtrooper armor is just to give you a
it's imitation.
spacesuit.
No, it's imitation. That's it. That's the only reason why Palpatine had them issued. It's just
No,
for
it's
an
a
imitation factor.
spacesuit. It's a spacesuit.
Geekocidal Tendencies sides with you, says Bane is still alive. Canon.
Dude, I gotta see a warm corpse. Like, okay. Like, what is the prime example? Darth Maul. Episode 1, dead. Nope. The Clone Wars, dead. Nope. Rebels, dead. Absolutely, because I see his warm corpse next to the fire in Obi-Wan's arms. Absolutely, 100% dead.
So, Fantasy Toonami match brought to us by Keely Chow, and I know who I'm taking for this one. Lobo versus Cad Bane. Who would win? Lobo.
Oh, man.
Fucking
Lobo
healing-
doesn't need atmosphere. It's got to be Lobo.
And he had his fucking head chopped off in Krypton, and he regenerated his whole entire fucking
That's what
body.
I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. He has a healing factor. Like it has a healing factor that's like Wolverine's healing factor. And
They
they're all like,
dropped.
boom. Oh, hey, that's just a little flesh wound. Your
Yeah,
arm's
like
cut off.
yeah, like Lobo versus Cad Bane. I think Cad Bane would put up a great fight, but unless he vaporizes every fucking particle of Lobo, he's not killing him. And I mean, he killed all of his people too that had the same.
Dude, Lobo doesn't need atmosphere. Like, do you not recall what happened to Goku and Frieza? Frieza's like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna blow up the planet. I don't need atmosphere.
Yeah, that's true. Keely says the main man always delivers. Yep.
That's right. The main man.
The greatest bounty hunter ever. Oh man. But I've had a great time with this. We had 10 people watch it. Thank you everybody. This was a really great show, and you know, our popularity is spreading, so let's spread some more love, and we'll start with cybernetic
sharing is caring.
So Cyber, what do you want to share with everyone that you got coming up?
I have a video, and well, I meant to work on it Thursday, but then I had computer problems and I haven't gotten around to getting it out, but it should be out sometime before Monday or on Monday. And then I've been, back to streaming on Twitch. I don't want to really talk about the joke I have for that video because I don't want to ruin it.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Yep, no spoilers. Keely, thank you. We're glad that you enjoy the show, and you know, share it with people. Let people know we do some funny commentary every Friday, always the same night, and time, midnight. So you know, we love having you guys on and interacting. It's been a great chat. PB, the #1 in truthful Zack Snyder reporting. What do you got coming up?
You know that's exactly what's coming up next because, you know, I feel sorry that I had disappointed everybody because the video was supposed to be out yesterday, but I put a new SD card into my phone, so I had to transfer all of my background music back over. But now I got most of it transferred back over. I'll be able to work on the video after I get off of the stream, so it should be uploaded sometime later tonight and go live later today. And there'll be some more, you know, facts out there about how Zack Snyder is such an excellent filmmaker. He doesn't even know how to license his music properly.
Man, I can't wait. I thoroughly enjoy your Zack Snyder video, especially the fact that no one ever watches them before they leave a comment.
You're going to get that one spammer that spams that thing that was spammed earlier in the stream and was spam. Well, it wasn't spam. It was sent to your freaking announcement about the stream.
Oh,
really?
Well,
yeah, that's what I was swearing about in the private chat.
Oh,
yeah. I see that guy all the time. I think he has a bunch of alternate accounts. It's like no one asked, no one brought it up. They pull it out of their ass every time.
Geekocidal Tendencies must have seen the tweet that I put out earlier. He came here for that exact reason.
Well, Geekocidal Tendencies, I'm so glad that we got to help you out, have some levity, because that's what we're here for. And if you want more levity,
don't come tomorrow night. Nope, don't come tomorrow. Well, I mean, I guess if you want levity about the situation, you can come tomorrow night. But if you want your mind off of it, do not show up tomorrow night.
No. I'm talking about what's coming before tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, or today at noon. Me and Stevie J will be talking about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp situation. Stevie J is going to break down and give us all the stuff he's been talking about. We're going to talk about all of the tapes, all of the conversations, what we feel about it, this ridiculous thing with Warner Bros. Taking Johnny Depp off of Fantastic Beasts. We're going to cover it all tomorrow afternoon. So I don't know how fucking long the stream's going to be, but I know it's going to be at noon until whenever one of us has to go. So it'll be a great in-depth stream. People love Stevie's coverage of it, and I got 5 new subscribers off of it. So, hey, man, facts are facts. I mean, it's not something I do just for the clicks per se. I was just pissed off because it's such a double standard, and it's got to be addressed because it's ridiculous. And then tomorrow night we have politics. So if you don't want to be aggravated, probably don't want to show up, but I'll have my dad on. We're going to be talking about the biggest scam being pulled right now as we speak. I'm not going to tell you exactly what we're going to be bringing up, but we're going to show you facts, evidence.
Talking about the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, that's a great scam. But we're talking about more of the presidential shenanigans that are going on and how bad it looks, because it's very suspect, very suspicious, and we've got actual facts and some articles that have been coming out that a certain era within voting has tipped the scales, and it's not good.
I don't know if they were lying about it, because I heard Crowder, the night before the election, like something with, overview of seeing where everything was going, on the night of election. I think they were screwing about something, and they got pulled, and then they mentioned it the next day when they had to make sure they were reporting everything truthfully. So then YouTube wouldn't be that, because if you guys aren't reporting stuff truthfully, YouTube will pull it. But even if you are doing it truthfully with the way everything is, they'll probably pull it because, they got to add more reasons for that lawsuit against the government.
Hey, I'm looking forward to that. But PD, did you read this? Because I'm sure you get a kick out of it.
Yeah, it says, Keely Chow said, most of the voters scammed my home state by voting for Tommy Tuberville. I don't know if I can agree with that. I don't have anything against Tommy Tuberville.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. I'm mainly going to be tackling the main presidential race. So, we got some insights, we got some actual facts, not just conjunction, but people coming out and saying this is a fact, that there's a particular era that has caused the votes to be invalid. And it's very interesting, and I can't wait to talk about it. So definitely tune in tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be doing probably another video, but it's going to be a review. So not going to tell you what. Just tune in for that. Can't wait. My first review in a long time, so it's going to be a classic review. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Called Wisconsin too early.
Your fault.
That was on me. I fucking jinxed it. But this era that occurred is also in Wisconsin. So every state that was registered later, there's a huge error, and they actually made this public. So I'm very interested in bringing this article up because it's going to be very intriguing, because it has to do with not only the mail-in process, but the electronic processing for voting as well. And the Russians aren't behind it, so they can't pull that excuse. Just come by, swing by. You guys will have fun. Anyways, thank you everybody for coming over. Remember the one and only rule here in the fandom zone. Kneel before your General Zod.
Why are you waving a flag?